to commentating.
Unless you are the stream host for this one.
I don't. I have to eat. So
Hello.
probably not. I'll come back and watch it. Do we not have anyone here?
No.
Okay.
I am here. How you doing, baby?
Hey, well, we got Adam in my ear.
Hi,
Hello.
Adam.
Hello, Colin. How you
I
doing?
probably just you both have the commentators talk the whole time then.
I mean, yeah.
That's all good. I can do
Put
that.
stuff away. If your name is James Long, you've won 3 boxes of blood letters.
Woo!
Oh, dear oh my. James Long, you are starting a new army.
Sorry, I got that backwards. James Long won 3 boxes of blood letters. I keep getting this wrong. Kevin Lee won 3 boxes of plague bearers.
Even better.
We like those Monty blood letters? Fair enough.
That's first came out.
There's also a trivia question. If you email bestinfaction@gmail.com in the next 10 minutes and can tell me what Chuck's first 40k army is, you will get 2 more raffle tickets. What it was Chuck's first
Ooh,
I will tell you it was in the 90s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
I actually know what that is, which is unusual.
I could give intentionally bad advice, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Turns out it was Custodes. They didn't exist yet, but
cool. So basically, quick rundown. We only have Adam right now.
Yeah.
Hence why I'm doing this, so that we get both color and play-by-play to the best of our reasonable ability. Because Adam,
Well-
talking.
Yeah. No,
Well, guess what? Guess what, guys? Lucky for you, I can do color, and I can do flavor, and I can do play-by-play.
Well,
We-
I can't do either, so that's gonna be great.
I'm sure you can do many other amazing things. Well, you can play this game and put on an incredible show for the people at home. So that is more than enough.
It better be a good show, given that I can't see. Let's get some deployments on going up.
So can I just double check something for Peter? Can they hear you and me right now?
They should be able to. Let me triple check this.
I'll triple check it. You know what you're doing, brother. You focus on your game. I'll make sure that things are going on the back end.
Blue Yeti is live. Desktop audio is live. We should.
Yes, they are. If you are able to turn yourself up, I'm just checking the audio on the Twitch. If you're able to turn yourself up a minute amount, that will be able to match mine, and that'll be lovely. And you guys can just get started.
I am turning myself up. There we go.
Which instead of turning yourself on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this incredibly lovely game happening for Hammer Out Charity. I'm your host your commentator at this time. My name is Adam Camilleri. Thank you so much for joining us. We are joined and we are watching the incredible Peter and Paul, who is Paul playing. I think what I would call is the pure, the CUDA, the uncut Slaanesh demon goodness versus Peter's Imperial hodgepodge jank, which looks pretty potent on paper. Can people at home please tell us if you can hear us okay? Please give us an audio check from your perspective. Let us know if there's anything we must do. Obviously, this isn't what it appears. Peter isn't actually Peter. He's actually cosplaying as Dark Helmet from... from Spaceballs.
Listen, I'm doing my best to be an actual member of the Death Corps right now. That means I can't see.
Where's your shovel?
It's in the car.
Crack out the shovel. Thank you so much, Happy Grunt, for letting us know we're coming through okay. What is the mission, gentlemen? You able to let us know what you guys are playing so people can look it up at home? I think I can see priority targets.
Priority target it is.
So you guys are up to the secondary picking point. You have not moved your objectives as of yet?
Correct. Paul needs to pick some secondaries. So I picked Assassinate,
Beautiful.
Bring It Down, as well as Scramblers. So I'm not going to be able to max Bring It Down,
Assassinate.
but I am going to be able to get some okay points off of it.
Oh,
And it's
Nice.
It's
All right,
in
so just to
alignment
give
with
you...
my normal goal.
Just giving you guys at home a quick rundown of the list. I'll be periodically giving you guys a rundown of what these gentlemen are playing against each other throughout this one. Also giving a rundown of the secondaries and the mission on top. So Paul's RTT Slaanesh Demons. He has the Keeper of Secrets. He has 1, 2, 3 of those, in fact. He has 3 times 10 Demonettes, 5 Furies with Mark of Slaanesh. They are so good at making sure you get those engage points early. I think they are actually very, very good in all sorts of different demon armies. Then he has a Vanguard. This one comes with a contorted epitome, a Shalaxi Hellbane. So that is his 4th Keeper of Secrets, essentially. 5 fiends, 5 fiends, and 4 fiends. So yeah, there's a lot of lockdown power attached to these big, beastie, scary, quick monsters. That's going to be quite a big factor for Paul to kind of take into consideration. But Paul is not sleeping on his laurels here. Paul's not going to sit back and get rolled over. He's playing what is defined as his hearty Imperial stew, and I can't disagree. He's got a Raven Guard Successor Patrol, Whirlwind of Rage, Born Heroes. He has a captain with a Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Jump Pack, Hero of the Chapter, Swift and Deadly. He has a Reaver Lieutenant, Rights of War, so extra Warlord trait, Master of the Trifold Path, Master of Ambush, and the Vox Spiritum. So he has that really nice big bubble of denial, as well as the ability to do a lot of jank in turning off objectives and a lot of bits and pieces. 2x5 Infiltrators, 2x10 Death Guard, Vanguard Veterans, Storm Shields, Power Fists, and a mix of Lightning Claws in both, of course, with the jump packs. Death Krieg Patrol, Death Rider Squadron Commander. Anywhere I hear about the words Mitch Pelham, I think Death Riders now. He's become pretty synonymous with that, and everywhere he goes, he spreads the seeds of the Death Riders. He's got 5 Silence in that, 1 Astropath, 2x9 Death Riders, a Talan Imperial Guard Patrol, 2 Demolisher Tank Commanders with Heavy Bolters and Multi-Melters to round it out.
Okay. So you get to move an objective.
We'll have a quick listen into the game to see what the boys are up to, and I'll join you in a moment.
Is it the attacker gets, or is the defender moves first?
I don't know. I believe it's the attacker.
Okay, first the attacker moves label A or B.
So basically, you start here or you start here.
Yeah, I get you. And they can move it up to 6 inches. Okay, horizontally. I'm glad they had to specify.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
6 inches straight into the air. It's in the open. Nobody can hold it. Thank you.
It's below the table now. No one can get to it.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm just seeing if I can move this 6. No, that's not going to help me. I'm going to move that. That's
So for what it's worth, in WTC, these are ruins.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And so we consider this the outer wall of the ruin, and this would be like the interior overlap.
I still like this is my most defendable one.
Oh, yeah.
Already. I think this is
So no, it absolutely is the
Mm.
most defendable one.
probably will help me. Okay, I'm just gonna move
Absolutely. I think Zach's. So I think Paul is right on the money there. So I'm assuming both players have picked priority objectives. I'm really interested that GW didn't change this mission, this secondary at all in the FAQ, because this is the auto 15-point secondary. This is the I leave 5 mooks at home and pick up 15 points for sitting on my most defensible objective. It seems too good to be true, and it usually is.
Basically right up to the line. I can't go into the ruin.
Happy Grunt from where do you hail, my man? Whereabouts? And what are you doing today? Are you tuning in for the long haul? Are you going to be here for every one of the games going on today? And what are you doing with yourself? Are you paying anything? Working on anything?
or do you move a B?
Well, so here's the thing, right? I moved this one.
Yep.
You can move this one now, and I get to move this one.
Okay, secondly. Oh, you get to do both because you're a defender.
Oh, I get to move both?
Then
Both?
I move the B that hasn't been moved yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So you move to B, and that's an A. Then I get to
So I'm
move
gonna move this one then, because that's kind of,
yeah, that makes more sense.
you know, if you choose to hide out a line of sight and hold back, there's not a whole lot I can do
Yeah,
about that.
no, I get you.
I want to preserve my little bubble of happiness here.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'm gonna move this one.
Peter, when you get a moment, can you do? I'll let you just focus on the game. If you feel free to turn off your audio coming through to Twitch. I'll take over for a little bit. I've got my man Nick Standings about to jump in. He's going to be my co-host for this stream. We'll get powered up and get people up to scratch about what they are viewing and such. And we'll tune back in when you've got a little bit of update from the table, brother.
Perfect. So what we'll do is I'm just gonna take off my headset, so nothing else is gonna change. I just won't be able to hear you anymore. If you need to
Perfect.
contact the table because we don't have a physical person here, just ping me on Discord and my phone will buzz. So
Beautiful.
if you're like, you guys are cheating or something like that. So great.
I'm sure it won't happen, man. But yeah, I'm not at all too stressed. I'm more than comfortable just calling it without the input. But yeah, if you have any saucy tidbits, by all means tune in.
Oh yeah. All right.
All right, ladies and gentiles, let us get the party started.
All right.
Thank you so much for those who have
Um,
joined us. Happy Grunt working today. I've been playing the stream in the background while working from New Mexico. I used to live in Seattle. Peter was and is a practice partner. That is fantastic, dude.
So
Very happy.
Then this one needs to go back because that's the one I care about.
Very happy to hear.
That is absolutely the one I care about.
What do you play, Happy Grunt?
An A and a B.
Nurmgard, thank you so much for joining.
Cool.
Very happy for you to be here. This is a very early kickoff, and we're going to be going strong pretty much for the next I don't know, 11 or 12 hours, 10 hours, something crazy. We're going to be pretty much a non-stop stream, some very high-quality games. For those who don't know where we're at, this is Priority Targets. This is our good man Zach, our good man Paul playing against each other. Oh, sorry, not Zach, apologies. Our good man Paul, our good man Peter playing against each other. Paul's playing Slaanesh Demons. Peter's playing a kind of Imperial suit with a little bit of Raven Guard, because, you know, if you can take Space Marines into this meta, usually you freaking will. They're just adjusting this is Priority Targets. They are just adjusting their priority order missions, getting them set up where they want. As you can see, the Slaanesh Demon player is actually pushing them towards his opponent because he knows he's going to be very aggressive. And whereas Peter, who's in the bottom left-hand corner of this deployment, has pushed one right into the back corner. And of course, he's going to be sitting on that pretty comfortably, probably with tank commanders. Happy Grunt plays Imperial Guard, Death Guard, and Custodes. Decent spread. That's one, you know, no armor at all, one power armor and one Terminator armor army. So yeah, not bad at all. He knows what he likes. I like people that know what they like, man. I like people that know like. And I think being a player having 3 primary armies is good, especially like if like as an adult, as a working adult, I can support 3 armies, no more. I try and make any more than 3 armies, and they just water out trash, or I neglect something else I love. But yeah, just giving a quick rundown of these 2 armies. The archetypes here are quite interesting. We have pure Slaanesh Demons being played by Paul, who essentially has 4 Keepers of Secrets because he's got 3 Keepers and Shalaxi. He's got the Mirror, the contorted epitome for lockdown goodness. He's also got 3 units of Fiends for further lockdown goodness. And in support of that, he's got 3 units of 10 Demonettes. It's going to be really aggressive. He's going to be churning up the board in very short order. His opponent, Peter, has some bits and pieces. He's got his Raven Guard, his 2 units of 10 Vanguard Veterans are actually going to be really scary for a lot of reasons. We're getting a close-up of the Demon Prince. I think it's one of the raffle prizes being put up, which we're very, very grateful for. Very grateful for. I think phenomenal. Phenomenally gorgeous sculpt. Quickly, if we can we get a rundown of the... sorry, can people hear you at the moment, Peter? Or is it just me?
Very quietly.
Okay. When you guys have deployed, I'd love to get a quick rundown of the greater demon powers that have been rolled up or selected.
Yeah, absolutely. Once we've deployed, we'll go over them.
Fantastic. Love you long time, gentlemen. But feel free to jump straight in and get churning.
I'm putting unit of Death Riders down. Death Riders.
Are they just normal size or are they size?
They're normal.
Okay.
They're scrambling men.
Of course. Just making sure.
Okay, so this is when we do. So you have.
For those unaware, or just joining in, not quite sure what Charity Hammer is. This incredible event being held which has been held for the last 2 years. This is the 3rd year, but unfortunately, Rona being what Rona is, has made it impossible for people to go over to this greater Seattle area, the greater Washington area, and hold what is usually a very high-tier, high-quality little tournament that usually runs 48 to 72 hours concurrently to raise money for charity. Unfortunately, this is the best we're able to do under current circumstances, so some of the best players in that area are playing for us on here, and it's being tuned in and streamed for you guys, being commentated on people throughout the world. I'm somebody right now sitting in my little house in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, commentating on a game in Greater Washington. It's pretty awesome to be able to do this. It's pretty amazing to be able to do this. Because I'll chuck up a link to Charity Hammer, where you can go, if you so please, to donate to get involved. There are some incredible prizes up for grabs, not limited to or including a fully painted, ready to go 2,000 point Necron army that is gorgeously painted, and it's very high quality as well. And on top of that, it's actually a very good list. So you'll be able to take that to a local tournament and get it cracking straight away. There's some other incredible things that all proceeds go towards. Firstly, a local community member who unfortunately has a current cancer diagnosis, struggling to pay their medical bills, and we want to support him in his endeavors and make sure he gets the treatment, and just be part of a very positive endeavor in our community. On top of that, any further funding will be going to cancer research funds to hopefully prevent things like this happening in the future and help others in our community and in our world who might be struggling. So please jump over if you can, donate if you can, and get involved.
So outside of, so the wall itself is right here, right? So how big is the Fiend base, by the way?
Oof, Fiends. So Fiends are very interesting position, aren't they, guys? So Fiends, they're quick, they don't kill as well as some of the other things. They just seem very strength for attacks, but they don't.
It's just
They
one of
don't
those,
like
like,
they don't smash like a lot of Space Marine stuff
one of
does.
those
But they have
things.
that lockdown ability, and they have that aura.
So if
Essentially,
you wanted
it's
to
the
go
same as the
all the way
Tyranid
over,
aura of Shadows in the Warp. It's a -1 to cast aura. It could actually be really potent in a lot of things, especially when you're playing into Smite cancels now. Essentially, they have this diminishing return of always being +2 to their next cast. So Fiends actually bring a hell of a lot of utility. And in Slaanesh armies, they make a lot of sense because they also have this duality of having their lockdown powers. And as soon as you can make things like Keepers of Secrets unable to be shot, they become they just go to a whole new level of terrifying. Um, just a quick rundown of the deployment so far. We've got some demonettes in the bottom left-hand corner.
and I'm sorry.
Uh,
The other thing I need to
and then he has a
declare.
unit of Fiends
So
sitting
that's got
behind that
Titan.
lower left L. To the right of that,
Um,
over on Peter's deployment, looks like we've got some Vanguard vets sitting inside that ruin. Oh no, so they're Death Riders. Apologies, guys. They are Death Riders, and directly above those guys, the other squad of Death Riders. I'm assuming the Vanguard vets will probably going to be the last or second last thing he drops, with the tank commanders being probably the other one. So we're just going to be trading blows here. A lot of the MSU portions of these armies are going to be chucked down first. Of course, Peter doesn't want to put down any of his big swingers, especially his tank commanders, until he sees where the greater demons are going to go. What is going to be a very big factor in this game is the fact that Peter does have Vengeance for Cadia, and that is it's pretty much going to be unless the keeper he's shooting into has a 4+ invuln or is -1 to wound, it's almost going to be an auto kill, auto dead greater demon every turn. And but luckily for Paul, this is a very good table terrain wise for blocking keepers. They are 16 wounds, able to be obscured. They're in a really good spot wounds wise, really good spot in points wise as well. So there are a lot of good nooks and crannies here for him to sling and kind of leapfrog keepers through this table. As you can see, like you see where he's placed his first keeper. If he was to go directly up and to the right into that top L, he'd be screened from anything bar like a tank commander directly above him to the right. But if there's a tank commander there, it's going to get charged next turn. So it's going to be a bit of a duel, a bit of an issue there for Peter. But I'm assuming Peter's played on these tables quite extensively and probably knows the ins and outs.
Okay, I'm gonna put these guys here.
Yes, of course, the keepers will happy grant the keepers will still have to run around the buildings, but the keepers, man, they are quick. They can sling. They can do a lot of good stuff. They cover a lot of ground when they want to as well. So it's actually going to be quite interesting. One moment, I am just sharing a document with my co-host, who will be joining us momentarily. Yeah, so those at home, how many games have you tuned into for this so far, and how are you feeling about it? Are you guys enjoying what we've been able to produce? Unfortunately, their hands are tied in some ways, but yeah, I'm just really proud that these gentlemen have been able to troubleshoot in order to put out some content during, I think, what some people would consider some pretty dark times, and I'm very proud to be part of this. So hopefully you guys at home are too. So we've got 2 keepers down. I actually do not know what Chilaxi looks like from the top. I'm assuming she might be the blue one. Either that or she's going to be the specialist one. We'll actually get our man Paul to point out which one is Chilaxi for us. Of course, the mirror looks like the mirror. Pretty easy to see which one that is. Peter, when you get a chance, if you are there, Peter, you hear me? Peter, my baby, my honey, are you there? Hello. We're just going to see if we can get Peter to update the scorecard for us.
Sorry, what was that?
Look at that beautiful bag of Peter's head. You there, mate? You hear me? Hello. Bump the camera. Jesus.
Are you talking to us, Adam?
I am. We might need to get a wipe and an update on the scorecard if that's possible.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Give me a sec.
No stress at all, my man. Take your time. First game for the tournament for this morning for Nuremberg. I'm assuming you may hail from somewhere in the Germanic region with a name like that, or of Germanic descent. Please confirm or deny. And please let us know what you play and where from you hail, my man. First game of this tournament, always good content from you, man. I'm just happy to be a part, and thank you so much for the compliment as well. I do try and always do my best, put out the best quality I can. But I'm just happy to be calling games, guys. Being stuck at home, Newcastle, wow. All right, You're from New South Wales, Newcastle. Why are you awake? Go back to bed, brother. No, no. Stick with us for the duration. Thank you so much for joining us, man. What do you play? Have we met?
Cool.
Also good to know.
I'm going to put
We've just been up. We just updated our scorecard. You'll see it to the right of screen. Peter vs Paul. They will be updated periodically as we go, of course. And if not, I will light a fire under Peter's ass and make sure he's all over it. But no, we won't have many problems here. Having some Space Marines chucked down, just encased in some Death Riders, right there. Just giving you guys a quick rundown of the list again, just for the sake of it. So, Demons Battalion from Paul starts with the Keeper of Secrets. Breaking this down a little bit, he's got a Bewitching Aura, he's got Delightful Agonies, and Hysterical Frenzy. Hysterical Frenzy is the double attack power, and Delightful Agonies is the Feel No Pain power, so it's both pretty good. Living Whip and Silver Strike. Exalted Keeper of Secrets, Quicksilver Reflexes. I believe that's the 4+ invulnerable save. We'll get that doubled and tripled down. I believe we have our man Nick Standing who's just joined us, who will be our co-host for this one. Hello, Nick. You hear us?
Yeah, mate. Can you hear me?
I can. Lovely to hear your dulcet Aussie tones. Good morning, my brother.
Thank you. Very good morning to you, mate.
Nice. So, for those who don't know Nick Standing, maybe Nuremgard, you do know Nick Standing, but Nick Standing's one of the other Art of War commentators in Australia, from hailing from Queensland. He's going to be tuning in and commentating this game with me. Dude, we've got. Have you had a look at the lists?
Yes, I'm just going through them now, having a good look at them.
Yeah, tell us give us your first impressions, because you're just joining in and getting this on face value. Because we've got pure Slaanesh demons versus Marines and Imperial Guard mixed.
Yeah, this Marines and Guard list is very interesting to me. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Yeah, this is definitely something that I haven't seen before. Peter's list. The Raven Guard's obviously something very familiar, but chucking in those Guard is I'm liking what I'm seeing here. Obviously, yourself are going to be a fan of that, Adam.
Oh, big fan. Yeah, double tank commander. So this is almost there are some versions of this army with the Raven Guard and the Marines that is joined up with AdMech, and it's similar to the Death Riders. They use things like the Cerberus Raiders and the Taraxi to be that kind of bubble screen, but more than that, they're a bubble screen that does damage. The Death Riders don't do as much damage, they don't have as many damage dealing abilities, but they're a bit more resilient. They're toughness 4 with 2 wounds, 5 up armor, 5 up feel no pain. And so being a screen and a bubble out element for these guys, plus they can get ordered, they can double freaking move guys. They become really annoying for opponent to deal with, because they don't do a hell of a lot of damage. They are strength 5 on the charge. I believe they're strength 5 -2, either flat 2 damage or D3, but they only hit on 4s with like 1, maybe 2 attacks. So they're not that intimidating. It's only on the charge. Apart from that, they're strength 3. So yeah, they're going to be. They might not be as great in this, because it's much harder for them to dictate terms of engagement versus something like a Slaanesh army, versus other unconventional armies, things like demons, things that are a little bit demon armies, sorry, that are things that are a little bit slower, like Beasts of Nurgle or Nurglings or things like that. They will get good engagements, and they will get some mileage for that damage. But here, I'm not quite sure how it's going to go. There are a lot of fast elements for this Space Marines army, isn't there?
Yeah, there definitely is. I can see maybe those Death Riders being used more of a screen type thing here, because he's got no shooting really, does he? Is there much shooting in this Demonette army? What I'm looking through here at the moment, I don't see any.
Yeah, apologies. Happy Grind. Yeah, Death Core Krieg Rise are 3 wounds. That's why they're crazy. Because 2 wounds with the 5/5 isn't so crazy. But 3 wounds, they essentially have what is equivalent to a 3+ save. A 5/5 is just shy percentage-wise of being a 3 armor save. So this is essentially like 3 wound Space Marines because the toughness 4. But yeah, so you said shooting-wise. I think I'm not quite sure what Living Whip is. I'm just going to double check and see if these on all 3 of his keepers. We might get a little bit of a breakdown there. So one of them's got Living Whip, 2 of them Living Whip, 3 Living Whip. It might be a bit of a shooting thing, but it's not going to be much. He's not going to have much shooting whatsoever. And unfortunately, those Demolition Tank commanders are actually going to take a pound of flesh at each turn. How do you see that playing out?
We're ready to run down the keepers.
Beautiful. Lay it honest, guys. So Nick, I've just gotten the gentleman to give us a rundown of what keepers have. And if our man Paul can point to Shalaxi when he gets through as well, that'd be fantastic. Right, go for it, boys.
Keeper Secrets by Warlord. She has the 4 Mortal Save Exalted power and the Silver Strike Relic, and the Beguiling Bewitching Aura Warlord trait. This Keeper of Secrets has the -1 to be wounded from shooting. Exalted
Beautiful.
power. This is Shalaxi Helpmate. And this is the random Keeper Secrets. It rolled the 4 Mortal Save and Fear Seeking. has her 2 random exalted powers.
So we have 2 at 4 up invul, and then 1 that can shift to a 4 up. So very good.
Yep.
Very
Yeah,
good.
not bad. He's managed to get a
Okay.
Kane managed to get a defensive buff of some kind on all of them. So I think that's pretty good.
I think we should get rolling.
All right.
All right.
One thing, Peter, before you tune in and get stuck in, could we get a quick rundown of the secondaries as well, please?
I think you.
Well, no. We roll off now, right?
No. Whoever wins the initial roll goes first.
I thought it was a separate roll.
No, they consolidate one roll now. You can check the FAQ.
I'm pretty darn sure. Hey, Adam, with the changes to deployment, is it a separate roll or is it the same roll?
It's a separate roll,
Yeah.
is my knowledge.
What was
Separate
the
roll.
What was the change then?
Just that you don't choose.
Oh, okay. I thought
Whoever
Literally,
whoever
you
wins
don't
has to
choose.
take first
So I roll
turn.
a
There
five.
is no multiple choice.
Okay.
This
Let's
might
do
be-
it.
I deployed more aggressively than I was going first. All right. This might be a quick game.
I deployed relatively conservatively.
Well,
But,
it's
you know,
Slaanesh Demons, babies. They're all quick games.
So, first thing.
So what is your...
Um,
So let's see who goes first, and then we'll put in our early predictions. What predictions have you guys got from home? We'd love to see how close to the mark everyone gets. And feel free to give a score prediction as well, simply based on what you think the end score is going to be. Whoever gets the closest, bragging rights, nothing else. You got to go over and buy your raffle prizes. You got to go over and buy your entries into this. Sling some dollars, get involved. Charity Hammer is an incredible initiative. Just based on deployment, what are your initial thoughts there, Nick?
I don't know. It's just random.
Well, I expect to see the this demon list going straight into it heavy. Sorry, did we have the secondaries available? Did we mention them already?
Not as of yet. I'll give us. Peter's just doing his movement. I'll get him to give it to us when he gets an opportunity next. But yeah, Peter going first is probably pretty rough. I said before, Vengeance for Cadia is going to be, might just be the game decider here, just because it is so damn punishing into so many elements of this army. Like, things like Fiends,
So if
just
I drive
absolutely terrifying.
forward,
Yeah, we're just looking at Peter's deployment.
on
Obviously, not too sure on how Peter plays, but looking at his deployment here, it looks like he set up his Vanguard veterans for a bit of a counter-attack, knowing that the Demonettes are going to be rushing into him. So I dare say that some kind of secondaries will be going on with the Demonettes, and the Fiends and all of the Slaanesh demons will be coming in and trying to wreck base on the Space Marines and the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, absolutely right, man. 100% agree. Neural Guard has called Demons for the win. If those keepers can get stuck in. Yeah, I agree, man. Well, that's the thing, yeah. In this game that we play, if things like Keepers of Secrets can get good engagements and on their terms, it's just hard to bet against them. This Vanguard veteran units, I think each one of these on the charge can, give or take, depending if he warp surges or not, account for one of these keepers. But the fact is, he's only got 2 of these Vanguard veteran units, and there's 4 keepers of secrets here. So this could be a tilting aspect here. Had the demons gone first, I'd be pretty much saying I think Paul might be in trouble, just because he has you know about all the lockdown mechanics that Slaanesh demons have, yeah?
Psychic phase. Ready?
Running through as Adam, what do they do?
I'm gonna cast
So Fiends and the mirror, the contorted epitome he's got, all deny you from falling back.
Okay.
So he's got 3 into Fiends and he's got the mirror. So any of those, if you want to cast your gaze to the left, all the way to the left, you see he's got Strike, Hellbane, and a Secrets above. They're the 3 in a row, and just above the top 2, to the right of it, that is the mirror. If that comes in contact with anything, it puts out an aura of you can't fall back unless you roll under your leadership on 3d6. There are a lot of ways to play with that as well. There's a lot of and relics to give minuses here, there, and everywhere. On top of that, Fiends, if Fiends are in base contact with you, you just can't fall back. No ifs, no buts, no nothing. So things like the Death Riders getting charged by Fiends is actually just a really bad time, because that can really allow him to chew through Peter's elements on his terms, and then get things like taps and rafts off of these tank commanders. So Peter's going to have to use his Vanguard veterans pretty conservatively at first. He can't risk slinging them up and letting them get swamped and killed early. He needs them to be the counter charge and take his stuff out of combat once it gets tagged and can't fall back, which I kind of guarantee is probably going to happen at some point, because this terrain is kind of really. It's good for the guard, but this is the kind of stuff the Slaanesh Demon Army needs to have in order to function. If like playing a bowling ball this time, he just doesn't work, doesn't he?
This is a good terrain for him too. I could probably see him even doing something like maybe Peter chucking those tank commanders into things so that he can tie up what he doesn't want in combat and then just sitting there and shooting them dead. That's probably a tactic that Peter would go ahead and use.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually quite true. It's interesting to me that I think he's got multi-melters on his tank commanders. Double check.
Multi-melters?
Yeah, heavy bolters and multi-melters. They're 245 points a pop, so that's pretty hectic. But I've got a funny feeling he's done that so that he can while we stand we fight, and I actually like shooting him in combat. Multi-melter shooting in combat feels pretty good, man. Like you want to, so usually a tank commander in combat doesn't do any damage, but then you put 2 multi-melters on, and essentially it has 4 attacks. Like hitting on 4s, but strength 8 -4, D6 plus 2 damage. It's actually kind of sick as soon as you change your perspective and think of those as giving it melee attacks. It becomes terrifying to just bully into small units. You can't leave a unit of intercessors in combat with it anymore, can you?
No, that's right, man. It's like chucking a couple of Thunderhammers on there and letting it rip into some things. So, no, I like that. It's a very good point, Adam. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty saucy. And yeah, like I said, it puts it over the threshold to be a while we stand we fight. So he could technically take the 2 Vanguard veteran units and one of his tank commanders as while we stand we fight. They are Talan, so if you see where he's positioned them, those aren't where they're going to end up, guys. He's moved them out 5 inches. They're going to double shoot, and then they're going to be ordered themselves to move back another 6 inches. So he's not going to, because right now that would be close to an overextension. I'm not quite sure how far Fiends move. But I know that everything in this army can advance and charge if they're within 6 inches for the Locust being Slaanesh. So everything in this is faster than you think it is. Whether he rolls, a 1 on the freaking advance or a 6, is to be determined. But any questions at home? Anybody tuning in who wants to have any questions answered about the Charity Hammer? Anything you'd like to know about how we think this game is going to tune out? Anything you'd like to know about me or Nick, please tune in at any time and let us know. And please let us know, anybody watching at home, where you hail from, what you're working on, what you're playing, and how you feel about this game. Nick,
well, as you mentioned there, Adam, we've just seen that tank commander at the bottom right-hand corner just sneak back into its deployment zone there.
Boot scoot, look at him go. Talan, man, I love him. So the bottom unit of Fiends, there was either a 4-man or a 5-man. Regardless, it is now a 1-man. So that is just the power of that. The power of the Demolisher Cannon. He is not re-rolling to hit into wound on this one, so I'm assuming the one below got Ventus Ficadia, hence it was able to pick up so many Fiends.
So that's 4 total.
So we haven't seen a lot of guard lately, Adam, and obviously that's one of your main loves. These tank commanders still are amazing and put out a lot of damage. Do you think they're one of the most underrated units in the game right now?
Absolutely. I think guard is actually in a really interesting place. They've got a lot of especially now that Bulgren have gone to 5 points a pop. The fact is that they had an army that wanted to take so much stuff and had to take so much stuff to function, and it made it very cumbersome and very brain intensive to try and play at a high level. And it's just really taxing. Like for every kind of a take and hold objective, you have to do like 5 things. Line up 3 or 4 units, some orders, psychic powers, double shooting, double moving. You have to do so many actions in order to just kind of do some of the basic things that a lot of other armies do. So it becomes very, especially with 5 games, your brain just wears down just through action fatigue, so to speak. But look, they've got the wider range of all the kind of facets of you need to win a game. They've got it all in spades. But you're absolutely right, dude. Tank commanders are just freaking good. There actually aren't many bad options for weapons, but the Demolisher Cannons is obviously the best one, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like the Demolisher myself. With the recent FAQ changes as well, I think bring them down has actually made them a lot better because you find that a lot of the better list guard lists had a lot of tank commanders, mana cores, wyverns, chimeras, and just giving up an auto 15 was almost very similar to a Ball the Witch for the GKs and the Thousand Suns. It was the same sort of detriment that they were having.
Yeah, it's actually really big that now Tauros Primes and Chimeras only giving up 1 point.
Yeah,
especially for Chimeras. There's not a lot of impetus people have to want to kill a toughness 7, Chimera that hits on 4s. You don't like, oh wow, I don't really need to kill that. It's not gonna do that much against me. But now that it's worth 1 point, you're just like, wow, I'm just never gonna kill that now because unless it gets really frustrating or I've got a bunch of extra shooting or stuff. It's only worth 1 point. Why go for it? And tank commanders being only worth 2 is actually really nice as well. So even if you do get like alpha struck and 2 of your tank commanders go down, you're only giving up 4 points.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I was actually around at our man Eric Lathorus' house last night, and believe it or not, he was busting out some Imperial Guard.
I know you're gonna pick them off.
Yeah, dude, he sent me some pics saying he bought some guard. We've been talking a few lists. He's pretty keen on him, and I think it's a good thing for him to pick up. He's got that kind of big brain. He can kind of take on something that intense and do really well with it. If you see how Peter played his first turn, he played really conservative, really defensively. He's hunkered down on his 2 home objectives. Really, all he did was use tank commanders. He didn't really use anything else in his turn. We just moved the tank commanders up, moved them back. That was the sum total of his turn 1.
There are a couple of things
Now
that
his
the
opponent, the
drives
Slaanesh Demons, they've already slung a unit of 10 Demon Fs up into the top left objective. That single thing that was left out of that bigger unit has jumped onto the middle.
I have still some
Um,
left.
and then he's starting to do his bit of positioning with his keepers. He's just making sure, yeah, he's going to make sure that his opponent can't draw direct lines around the obscuring terrain. Naturally, keepers have a lot going for them. The fact that they're 14, so the fact that they're 16 wounds is actually freaking huge. Like if there were 18 wounds, that'd actually be bad, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's it. They'd be exposed by those buildings there. They wouldn't be able to get some obscuring rules happening for them, and that would definitely crush them. Something like tank commanders, just being able to see them everywhere would definitely hurt.
Yeah, it would be a bad time. Happy Grunt. I've got Peter winning, but it will be close. So Happy Grunt and Nuremgard, you're just rolling dice against each other. Whose cuisine will reign supreme? Which one of you will be disappointed? We will find out. So yeah, we've just had a reposition of that keeper to make sure that with the 5-inch move, there is no way he will be able to get line of sight. So we'll probably have to double move with that bottom tank commander and lose the 2d6 shots in order to get on that keeper. I'm of the opinion he probably still can do it. And for those unaware, the order to shoot and then scoot with the Talan tank commanders can be done before or after you shoot. So you can move 10, order yourself to move another 5, I think, or is it 6? I can't remember, and then shoot. So you can go 16 inches and then drop the Daka. But you'll only get 1d6 shots. But yeah, it's still a thing you can do, and it's still a thing that makes that unit a lot more flexible.
But we're going to have to do something interesting from Peter there, because Paul smartly moved pretty much everything into that middle ruin, and it's taken a lot of that tank commander from that bottom right-hand side of the table out of the play. So that is one of Peter's massive damage dealers, and he's going to have to do something to get that back into line of sight and be able to do some damage with that.
I'll give you some targets.
Yeah, so like I said, he can move 16 inches. If he wants to, he could move. And look at all the units. He's got like 3 or 4 different units that are directly above that tank commander. He could technically move all those into that upper ruin and boot scoot 16 inches straight up, and then he might be able to draw line of sight across the same kind of lines that upper tank commander is. And that's the kind of thing that these Talan units do that you don't really expect. You don't expect these guys to actually just scoot 16 inches and then lay the smackdown on you. I used to do that all the time with my ones and then pay the CP to make sure they still get the double shoot. And people will just be like, a what? I'll be like, yeah, sorry, man. I've just been 16 inches. It's still going to lay the smackdown. It was a unit of 4 fiends that got killed by the tank commander. So he killed 3 out of those 4 fiends because there's still 2 units of 5 there. And it's because he had a 5 of 5 and a 4. So I'm guessing that's like the sergeant, whatever they're called. What are they?
Herald. No, not Heralds.
No.
I guess Peter's going to have his work cut out for him trying to get rid of those bottom 5 then. If he's only killed 3 in the previous turn, those 5 look to be like in some kind of trouble there in their center of the board, bottom center.
I'd love to...
Just that tank commander there.
Yeah, absolutely. Slaanesh units are so fast. Peter needs to actually fall back from his current positions, move back maybe around somewhere in the region of 6 to 8 inches from his current line. Otherwise, he's going to get charged next turn. Alternatively, he can start slinging and throwing blows. Death Riders can go in, try and target either fiends or demonettes, and like a unit of Vanguard vets can go into that middle cluster of greater demons and try and pull 1 down. I doubt that a unit of Vanguard vets can kill 2, especially knowing that 3 out of these keepers actually have 4+ invulnerable saves. I'm not quite sure if a unit of Vanguard vets kills 2, but he might be able to kill 1 and take a chunk out of the other, yeah?
Yeah, he's going to have... Yeah, depends what he does here. I don't know. Yeah, he's going to have trouble getting through all 5, that's for sure. And he's not going to want to focus on just those fiends also, because he's got a world of hurt coming up through the center of that table.
Yeah, dude. Like next turn, he is going to get swamped. So he's got to either. I'm assuming that upper middle tank commander falls back and moves back 6 inches. He'll still be in range of the front lines, or 5 inches, so he can double shoot. Probably put some Death Riders in front of it. Get some Death Riders up there, and then maybe you put the Vanguard vets behind the tank commander. So even the tank commander does get tapped, you don't care. You can stay there, shoot into combat, and Vanguard vets go in on the flanks and try and get a bit of encircling. pincer going on there, which is I think a very high possibility. Let's have a quick look at his smash captain for Peter. He's got Thunderhammer, Storm Shield, Swift, and Deadly. I can't actually remember what Swift and Deadly is. I've got the Raven Guard Codex. I might just have a quick gaze actually. But off the top of your head,
All right.
I had a question. I had a question for you. Apologies. I think I've forgotten what I was going to ask. But
We're just having a look at the table here. I can definitely see top right 5 Vanguard vets, and then in the bottom sort of middle section there's another 5 Vanguard vets. Do we know if the other one is also Combat Squadron and off the table? Do we know where that is, Adam?
So I've got a feeling that there is. They're both 2 units of 10. I don't think he has Combat Squadron. I think the other unit of 5 is under inside the L. We just can't see it under the lip.
Oh, okay,
that could be
right.
2 units. That's right. It could be 2 units of 5. It looks like it is a little bit of a break in there. It could be 2 units of 5. Absolutely right.
But, yeah, it looks like it's 2 units of 5, and it looks like the is it the Incursors are there next to them, and then he's got the Death Riders on the left of them, and then it's a very similar setup down the bottom, sort of like an even break in his army that he's got here.
Yeah, it's pretty homogenous, isn't it? It's pretty nice actually. So he's got Vanguard vets being insulated by the Death Riders with like a support character or 2 in the wings. Swift and Deadly for those at home is the Warlord trait Peter's taken. He's free one on his Warlord. Friendly Raven Guard units within 6 inches of this Warlord can be chosen to charge even if they advanced. That makes those Vanguard vets very quick, very speedy. They'll go 12 plus D6 and then they will declare their charge. And he is his Raven Guard success as well. He's Whirlwind of Rage and Born Heroes. So he is the best. He is the best of the melee. He's the best melee Marines you can be without being Light Scars, essentially.
The wrap is goofy.
All Blood
Oh, I
Angels.
see.
Basically, if you want to.
Well, we have seen a shift down here, haven't we, Adam? Some of the top players have gone from White Scars over to Raven Guard. It's actually pretty popular down here.
Yeah, simply because of the jank benefits you get, don't you?
Yeah, that and the pre-game move and stuff like that, which we didn't see Peter do any of those type of things today. Which
He would have been
does-
still
Probably
Would have
didn't
been-
want to do because he didn't want to get up on
I'll
Paul's
keep him
grill.
there as like a
like
threat.
9 out of 10 games. He probably moves at least one of those Vanguard vet units up to turn 1. Yeah, and this game is no chance, no how, because of all the locking abilities, all the you can't fall back abilities he has. He would just like if he goes second, that Vanguard vet just gets like 3 keepers and the 1 unit of fiends go in and just wrap off that unit of Vanguard vets, and the game might be just cooked from there.
Like that.
Looking at what we've got here so far, the Slaanesh is moving up pretty easily, and I can see them controlling 3 of the 2 objectives. I see it's going to be very hard for the Space Marines to be able to come back and actually grab that third. That middle one, I do believe, is gone. I don't know how well that entire army will be able to get through those 4 graded demons there. That is why I asked previously about the Vanguard vets. I'm hoping they are in reserve, then he's going to be able to drop them in the back of the board there on the left-hand side of the screen. If he can drop that behind there somewhere and after he's dragged all those demons forwards into his lines, hopefully he can drop them back there. They're combat squatted, and he can take the top left objective and the bottom left objective. I see that being a pretty helpful play there for Pete.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'm actually, the more I'm looking at this, the more I think you are spot on, my man. So yeah, he's got 5 Vanguard vets right at the top, and in front of them, they're definitely not jump pack units. So that would be infiltrators. And then at the bottom, it might be homogenous entirely, and there's 5 and 5. So you might be absolutely correct, man. Well read. There might be 2 units of 5 in reserve. We'll get Peter to confirm that next time he's got the headset on. But as for the primary and secondary scores, if you just cast your gaze, guys, secondary is 3 to 3. And you know what that is? That is the stupid priority objective secondary that you auto get 3 points on if you simply sit on your most comfortable objective. It's hilarious. Nurum Guard's just chimed in. Seeing a lot more Space Wolves floating around in the meta now. All those heroic interventions is tasty. So I'm actually seeing a bit of the same, but I'm seeing a lot of Space Marine, Space Wolf soup. I'm seeing a lot of people liking to cherry pick a handful of Space Wolf characters simply because they're some of the best, most flexible and killing characters in the game. And I do agree with that. I think chucking like a handful of Space Wolf characters in is actually just really potent in so many Imperial armies.
So I don't have to be that close.
Well, there's a big move they talked about earlier. Peter's done a big sideways shuffle, and he's got everything dragging into that top right-hand corner there. So he's used his big 16-inch move that you talked about before, Adam.
Called it.
You certainly did, and he's sort of pinned in the corner here. So I believe that Paul may have him exactly where he's want him. So Paul has some smaller, weaker units on that bottom right-hand objective that he can take from Peter. I believe those fiends and the other leftover fiend, and maybe one of the keepers himself could easily just take that off him. So I think Paul's looking pretty good for the primary here.
Yeah, Paul's looking like he's going to be getting the bit of the primary for sure, man. And, like, we might only see, like, if things go badly for Paul, it might only be like turn 4, turn 5 that like Peter's able to actually start getting some supremacy on the primary, which is interesting. Peter did go first. We are into his turn. We're actually into turn 2 already. Like turn 1 for both players was kind of a non-event. He is putting a lot into insulating these tank commands. I'm of the opinion he needs these things shooting for 5 turns. They have to be. They can't afford to get tapped wrapped up. So they'll both be moving another 5 inches back after they shoot, and then they'll be pretty well insulated from there. He hasn't done any other movements. He hasn't moved anything in front of them. I'd probably be moving a Death Rider squad directly in front of those guys. And just to make sure there's
you need to
no
be able to put
chance.
some chaff in front of there, because like you mentioned earlier, you brought to our attention that he can just tie things up. So a good play for Paul would be to, whatever he doesn't care about, whatever units that he's not too worried about, he can just throw them in there into those tank commanders, just let them sit there and fine. Peter's going to shoot at him during combat and stuff like that at neg 1, but Paul, as long as Paul can pick what units that he's in there combat and shooting with, he can take out Peter's big hitters there.
That also helps.
Because we got Peter dropping some CP. He's going to drop some. He needs to pull down a keeper this turn. Between these 2 tank commanders, he needs to kill one. That's probably the goal. He gets his front one down. Hopefully, does some wounds to the next one in the line as well. And that'd be a pretty good turn for him. Unfortunately, he can't draw a significant bead. Actually, no, he's looking for the Fiends. Interesting call. He's just going to check his range probably and see what he's got. Snowflake Supreme. Firstly, bold move, brother, with that name. I see you're a man of culture also. Insert meme here. How you doing, man? He said, I love seeing more Space Wolves, but they sure did focus us into a certain way of play. Oddly enough, I miss Lone Wolf the most. I do miss Lone Wolf as well. How sick was that strat? Had one guy left in a unit, turned him into a character, a bunch of extra wounds, a bunch of extra attacks. I thought it was sick. But as for these new codexes, seem to have like a real modus operandi built into them. They have like a reason to exist built in. How they want you to play. You kind of feel a little boxed in. Like even Blood Angels seem the same. Like Blood Angels just have like, oh cool, I have this. I sling combat monsters. Space will sling combat monsters. That's just what we do. Where the old codexes, the old supplements, the White Scars, the Ultramarines, the Salamanders, they seem a little more fleshed out to me. Is that how you read it as well, Nick?
Yeah, it seems to be the way they're going, isn't it? It definitely seems to be locking it into a certain type, especially with the way the
That seems like every.
Well, it's going into a single model, so it's like it's all just damage.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so yes, it seems to be like every unit that comes out now has their like one stupid power unit. Yeah, T-Cav for Space Wolves, Sangard obviously for Blood Angels, and I'm assuming that when Dark Angels come out, it's probably going to be either like. Well, right now it's their Terminators. It's just any Deathwing Terminator is obviously like a stupidly power unit. But it's a bit interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm just trying to see what Peter is targeting here. There's a lot of dice being stacked up here, so he's done a lot of wounds.
That was amazing.
I'm interested to see, like you said, he maybe he's targeting the Fiends. So I'm very interested to see what he's targeting. I think if he's targeting those Fiends in the bottom left-hand corner, it's a bit of it. Oh, there we go. So he's going after the. Oh, we've lost it.
These are saves. These are saves, my man.
Yeah. I was just trying to see what he was taking away. We've lost a keeper there. So the center there, we managed to lose one keeper.
But that's okay. Oh, and the orders was
Snowflake Supreme. I'm good, and the name seemed like a lovely idea at the time. Turns out direct translation was a bad idea. Made more sense in Sweden. That is freaking hilarious, my man. I love that. Protoculture 11. Those are indeed.
Do we have anything that we can do?
Those are indeed demolish cannons on the tank commanders. He also has some multi-melters on there as well, which unfortunately are not shown on these models. But you know, it is what it is. Dude, what do you think? Is one enough? And see, that one that just shot has boot scooted back another 6 inches. So you see how mobile these dudes are. And I think Talan tank commanders have been really overlooked for a bit because I feel like they just add such a level, and they give Guard a unit that does something no one else can do.
And then we'll do the heavy bolter. I need to resolve.
How do we feel about Talan instead of spotter details with this loadout? I love it. I love Talan. I think Talan is the most flexible way to take your tank commanders and I feel like it's the most reliable as well. So I'm a big fan. I think if you want damage, if you just want pure damage, and you're taking like probably a pure guard list, maybe you just need the pure damage and you take the more reliable stuff. But when you want jank, when you're making like a janky list with some space marines, with some death riders, things like that, I think you want the flex. I think you want the tech, and especially the ability on tables like this to just sling a tank commander 16 inches, man. That tank commander wasn't going to shoot, was going to shoot shit, and now it's slung 16 inches and it can shoot some prime targets. As you can see, two of that big unit of Fiends, we got a unit of 5 Fiends directly to the bottom of the L's. Two of those have been picked up, and that's only because he was able to sling that tank commander and move him around a bit. You back with us, Nick?
Yeah, mate, I definitely am. Yeah, can you hear me?
It is, yeah. Protoculture isn't 24-inch dangerous being charged sometimes versus other armies, but because you can move into 24, like you essentially do have a 30-inch range or a 31-inch range because you can move up 5, double shoot, and move back 6. So you essentially are able to maintain the distance. And not only that, it enables you to start scooting around terrain and start opening up better lines of sight as the table goes. As the turns go on. So I think it does take a bit more foresight, but I think it's like in the right hands, it's actually much better rounded. Yeah. Yeah, you do. Proto culture, that is their order. The Talan order is to boot scoot, which he's doing it now. Peter's doing it right now. He just shot with that tank commander, and look at him scoot. Love it.
So cool.
Nick, is that a good enough turn? 1 keeper down, 3 more fiends out of a 5-man. Is that good enough for Peter? He's seeding the board. He's seeding the primary. Is he doing enough damage?
Yeah, I think he's doing as much as he can do. I'd be happy that I lost at least one of those seekers. I'd be happy to have gotten rid of one of them. Maybe getting rid of those fiends would be fine, but I think what he's got left in that bottom right hand corner can deal with a fiend, so that's not really an issue there. So that's going to actually make Paul commit something more than just those 2 fiends. So I think even if he just adds that 3rd fiend that's left over in the center there, just the 3 of them won't be able to be enough to take over that objective there. So what I see Peter needing to have to do now, he's going to have to make sure that Paul needs to commit more than he wants to certain objectives. I think a lot of it does hinge on whether or not he can get to the 2 backfield objectives, which the only way I see him doing it with those vanguards. I'm wondering now, those on the top right, what we didn't see, the black models that are there right behind the tank commanders that he may be using as a counter assault, they might be an actual unit of vanguards, I think.
Yeah, if you look at them right there, the black models, they do look like they have jump packs for sure, don't they, mate?
Yeah, I think that could be the case there. So I'd like to see Peter's plan on getting to these back 2 field objectives, because Paul seems to have those 2 and the middle one locked up. So just that alone is enough to creep him ahead on primary consistently and get him the win there. But so this is a 5-point win on primary.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 5-point advantage on the going into this turn, just based on the fact he's got 15 versus Peter's 10. We will ask that when Peter gets a chance, he updates the scores, because it is kind of important for keeping track of this one. So that's Peter's turn 2. We're going into the Slaanesh turn 2. Proto's just said it's interesting. I feel like most people give a little too much credit to 24-inch weapons in this edition. Last tournament, I faced no long-range weapon at all. Proto might ask what army you play, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Have a bit of a chat between yourselves, mate. We'll continue to keep you entertained as best we can. But I do love you guys just chatting with yourselves, doing a bit of community building. We're going to have some fiends that do make contact this turn. Like, it's undeniable there are some fiends that are going to connect. That unit of 2 and that single one on the middle objective, they're both going to be able to go into either onto the right, or that middle one will be able to go up right into Peter's deployment zone, should he choose. The other unit of fiends is looking a bit, might be a little bit out of position. It's not going to make contact this turn unless he gets like a 6 and then a big charge, and he might not want to risk it because that's his only intact unit at the moment. I do think you are right on the money there, Nick, and that he does have one unit of Vanguard vets strung out along the back. And then he's got one unit.
I think all Vanguard vets are on the table. So it's combat squad of 1, which are the 2 blue squads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. What about the Scions? Can you see them on the table?
No, I can't see them.
They're obviously being reserved. They can do their little 5-inch deployment trick, so they might be able to get those backfield objectives. Maybe that's his plan there. They're obviously not going to be able to wipe out those demonettes, and they're obviously going to die. One die once they do drop down there. So he's going to have to find some way of getting those backfields, I think, depending on what secondaries both these guys have taken. For myself, I think the Demons would have been good pick taking your banners. I think they could easily just sit on all 3 of those objectives and just rack up banners from turn 1. I think banners would have been a good pick for Paul. I'm not sure about why we stand with fight. What do you think about? Because I think he wants him getting those Seekers in there, doing some damage with them. So I think they're a bit of a target priority. Obviously, Peter's going to want to shoot them, and Paul's going to want to use them. So I don't think Paul's going to be taking while we stand. What do you think, secondary-wise, Paul would probably pick there?
She'll get swarmed by.
I would, yeah, I actually think banners would be a great pick for the Demons. 3 units of 10 Demonettes and with them being so quick into this guard army is actually pretty good at it. A few updates on the chat. You're correct. They won't have the 5-inch deep strike because he's death guard for that detachment. Not actually. Well, you do get that if he was just. You're actually right. He could have it because you can be a death core patrol, and then the Scions can be listed as whatever you want Scion wise, and they would get the strap, but they wouldn't get anything else. But you'd break the death core. You'd break the death core up. You wouldn't be death core. You wouldn't get the special death core stuff, which I actually don't think it matters anyway. So we'll see. There might be
separated sort of on the list in 2 different sections. The is it the Lions? Is that the 5-inch one? No, that's the one everyone takes for the plasmas.
It's the Iodine Gorgones is the 5-inch deep strike.
$1,000,000%.
But never mind. So, commentators, how much do you think the guard is missing Manticores at the moment? Yeah, look, holy crap! Yeah, if you had Manticores, if you had one payload Manticore in this army, do you know what payload Manticores would crush? Anything. I was about to say Fiends, but then I realized Fiends had 4 wins, so maybe they don't crush Fiends. They certainly do well. Yeah, look, he's slung Shalaxi.
I got excited by the movement of the
Slaanesh
here. I got very excited by the movements here.
Yeah, tell me what happened.
Well, we've just seen the Greater Demon there. It's just gone, just done a U-bolt there and turned all the way around and just gone hard left. The other one's actually retreating as well. So this is interesting. They've actually gone away. They've captured the 3 objectives. They're sitting on those 3. But I envision those keepers just getting straight stuck into the Marines and the guard there just going straight for them. Because they don't really have an answer for them once they get in there. Like we've addressed a few times, they can tag them, lock them up. They won't be able to shoot them, won't be able to dictate what they're going to do. Maybe he's a bit scared of those Vanguard that's counter-assaulting. There is 20 of them there. That is going to do some damage to him.
Well, I actually 100% agree with this play by Paul. I think if he goes forward now, he's doing exactly what Peter wants him to do. Peter has set up this absolute trap for him to dive straight in on those tank commanders. Whereas he has this ability, if he just walks back...
He hasn't actually moved it. There we go.
Yeah, well, so, yeah, if Peter just walks... If Paul just walks back, say, 6 to 8 inches, tank commanders aren't a factor. He still has supremacy on the primary, and he's now up in points. He actually now has a lead in points. And if they just maintain the status quo, Paul's going to win. So I'm of the opinion that's what he's doing. He's pulling himself out of minimum safe distance from the tank commanders, and they're just going to be like, hey, dude, you now have to come out of your castle. You cannot stay there or you're going to lose. I think it's very clever by Paul.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Peter combat squad a couple of those units and then put him in deep strike for a counter assault, a bit of extra play on the table because he's very hamstrung. He's very stuck in that top right hand corner there, and the units that he does have in deep strike in reserve are just 2 lots of 5 Scions, so they're actually the killing power, and I believe they're just wearing their pants, aren't they? They've got nothing special going on about them.
No, they're not special. They're just going to do what they do on the box. But I like he's done this like a beach. He's flown up like a big strong wave, and now he's just receded away and been like, oh, you thought I was coming for you? Nah, bro, we're going to sit here. We're playing the primary. I would love to get Peter to update those scores for us because I'm of the opinion that Paul is up by 5 points, and I would love to get a rundown of the secondaries as well. But yeah, but I mean, if Paul's taking engage, he's going to be getting the better of the engage. He's going to be getting the better of the primary score, and he's going to be possibly getting the better of something if he's taking while we stand. But if he took while we stand, he might have already lost 5 points on it with that one keeper that's already gone.
Because it would be seeing some good spacing out there on the left hand side. With spacing out of models, so that's taking the Scions out of play. Actually, looking at it too, like he's done a good play there on the bottom right hand side where those Fiends have gone in. If he can manage to just take 1 or 2 objectives off him per turn, we mentioned earlier that it's like just automatically, if Paul just plays the game and sits on the 3, you'll win by 5. But taking one of the objectives off Peter per turn is actually going to be a 5-point swing each turn. So we could see him maybe even getting him down to 30 on the primary there, making it a big win for Paul.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, This is perfect. I actually think this is a perfect play by Paul. Like Peter,
Mm.
all the pressure was on Paul to make a big move, to connect, to do damage, and now he's just pulled back and say, "Man, pressure's not actually on me. It's actually on you. You need to make a move. You need to come out of your castle. If you don't, game's over. Come at me, bro. Got to do it." And if you'll see, like those Vanguard vets, if the Vanguard vets sling, they're going to sling into a single fiend on the middle objective. They're going to sling into 2 fiends on the bottom right hand objective, and 1 unit of demoness on the top left hand objective. And he can sling, he can kill all those units. I don't think Paul would give one crap if all 3 of those units got picked up, because then he's actually positioned that a keeper can get to pretty much any of those 3 objectives. Admittedly, the one on the bottom right hand corner, it might be a bit more difficult. He might need to get a big advance to make it all the way there. But it's still a doable charge. And the fights first for those demons is actually a really big deal all of a sudden on those terms. Getting
saw my
charged
mistake
by
over there.
demons is
You
freaking
haven't
tragic.
Yeah, definitely being for those demons and stuff, being able to go first before the Vanguard vets is definitely it's definitely going to be a problem for him. He's actually boot scooted right back into that back right corner, and that big play by Paul was just to move back like we found out, like you said, it definitely is a perfect play. Now it's pretty much taking everything of the
He's just pulled all the wind out of Peter's sails. Everything Peter was building towards, all the metrics just changed. Like, so Peter was planning 3 turns ahead with defensively 3 turns ahead. He hasn't planned 3 turns ahead aggressively. So this is going to be actually interesting. Like, because you know the bottom, so in the 2 L's in Peter's deployment zone, none of the units in those L's have moved. They're still there. Those units have been there since he deployed them. He's only really played with what's behind the tank commanders and the tank commanders themselves. Very interesting list, though. The thing is, though, we're playing up Paul's play here because I think it's very clever. He's moved everything minimum distance to where that the tank commanders cannot shoot him next turn, is my belief. But this is still a very quick army that Peter's put together. Death Riders move, I believe, 10 inches. Someone in the chat will probably correct me there. I actually haven't looked at their data sheet in a while. I think because I thought there were still 2 wounds. I think they move 10 inches and they can double move. So they can sling, but you can't, of course, charge a double move. And of course, we know the Vanguard vets can advance and charge if they win 6 of that captain. So everything in this can get very relevant very quickly. So we might be underplaying how flexible and how much damage Peter can really get done here.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, Peter's going to have to do something making a play for either the center objective or the top left objective. They seem to be the 2 that he can make a play on that he doesn't already control. But like you mentioned, Paul has a lot of things set up there where obviously on the top left-hand side, those the Fiends can obviously just counter-assault there and just wipe out whatever he puts there, and then the same with the center with all 3 of the keepers. But probably the one on the top left could actually jump up to the top left objective as well.
Yeah, he should probably try and focus in on one of these objectives and just make sure he makes a decent play to get it back. Naturally, you probably don't want that one to be the middle objective because then you just get swarmed by fiends and 3 keepers. It's pretty horrible. So he's gonna have to put some investment to kill the fiends in the bottom right. But then, like, if he can make a partial investment into the top left, because what that would do would be to draw the keepers away from the middle, which is where you don't want them to be. You don't want 3 keepers staged in front of the middle objective that you need to take to get primary supremacy back. So yeah, I'm of the opinion he tries to make a play for the top left.
And we have some scores coming in here for the people at home there. Adam, I believe this would be Peter's turn 3 about to start, I think. And primary-wise, Paul is on 15. Secondaries, he is on 9. So that's giving him a total of 24. So that's a good start from Paul there.
Yeah, going second, I think is a very good start for Paul. We also need to know that playing with the FAQ, Paul will get the last turn of scoring. So at the end of the bottom of turn 5, Paul is going to get to do a nice big mad scramble and try and lock down objectives. With his army, it's actually pretty likely he gets a minimum of 10, maybe even a 15 at the bottom of the game. So getting a 15 now is actually a huge deal. So this is Protoculture 11. This is Adam Camilleri speaking. Is it Adam that needs to turn up his mic, or is it Nick, the other guy? And yeah, I was right. So yeah, Snowflakes Plains just confirmed for me they are movement 10. I thought they were. In theory, Peter. Okay. Nick, are you able to turn up your mic at all?
I'm not sure. I'll have a look. Just give me 1 second.
If I fall back,
So just go into Discord settings, just turn out your output volume a little bit.
So 3 more would be 29. So that'd be a really hard.
Thanks very much for the feedback, guys. We do want to make sure we maintain the highest possible quality for this stream.
Do that. We're just
How's that? Is that sounding any better?
Does for me.
Yeah, please let us know if that's any better.
We're going to.
I'm not sure you can move closer to the mic. I think it's bring a headset like me.
Yeah, you got the headset
Put-
on. The,
Put it in your mouth.
Just five.
They asked you that you go louder again, please.
louder again? Yeah, I've got it cranked to full volume. Let me know how that's going.
Yeah, I've noticed a notable increase already for me.
Yep.
Let us know if that's sufficient, guys. Have you got the list handy? Snowflake Supreme just asked for the list. Are you able to just... I copy and pasted it to you in Facebook chat.
Yep.
Can you copy and paste it into the chat for the gents?
Yeah, no worries.
Aura off of the captain.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, right?
Oh, they have that.
So this is actually so we've seen the tank commanders. One of them has done the full boot scoot. I think he's done the full, like was called. He's done the full advance. So I'm going to get 1d6 shots out of him. And I assume the other one is not in range at all. I don't think he's in 24 of anything. So that one's probably just going to pick up that single fiend on the middle objective, and all that's going to do is deny some
I'm gonna have these guys.
nice primary for Paul coming back. So Peter did get 10 points on his turn. On his top of his turn 3. But the fact is that Paul is still ahead, even when Paul's got the bottom of the turn, is a bit of a problem for Peter moving forward. He does need to make some big plays this turn. Like, he's got to get a motor run, man.
These guys are going to advance.
Nick.
Yeah, mate.
Hello. How
Hello.
you doing?
Yeah, good, mate.
What time is it there? Is it just gone 7, like 10 past 7 there?
Yes,
in the
it's
morning?
just gone 10 past 7, which is when I
Yikes.
originally thought we were going to start. My
Yeah,
bad.
apologies, man. I told you 7 o'clock my time, and yeah, I live in the realms of daylight savings, which probably shouldn't be a thing. I'm not going to get like too deep into that argument, but it just feels like it shouldn't be a thing. It feels like the reason for existing is not that important. We do have. I'll be commentating on 2 more games today. Directly after this, actually, I'll be going hard for the next 9 hours, 8 to 9 hours commentating. I think I'm commentating with the lovely Pablo Martinez from Chapter Tactics on the next one. And let me just give you guys an update quickly on what that one is. We're going to our master schedule. Oh, what is that? That is not the one I want.
Yeah, boy.
So, people at home, any questions for either of us regarding this list or regarding this event? Anything you'd like to know, we can tell you about what is going down. So, I am commentating with the lovely Pablo Martinez. Actually, I don't know who it is. It's just the RTT Game 7. So, it's going to be one of the winners of the last 4 games of the RTT, that being Colin versus Tyler, Noah versus Chuck, Zach versus Harrison, and Peter versus Paul. So, one of those games, I believe I'll be calling the winner of Colin versus Tyler versus Noah versus Chuck. I'm not quite sure which of those will, but that'll be next. And it'll be me and Mr. Pablo Martinez of Chapter Tactics fame. Hopefully you guys are, and that'll be over on the other channel. So there actually is another stream going on right now. There's 2 channels. There are 2 channels going on concurrent right now. One of those being, of course, on the awesome Can Have a Twitch stream. This support Can Have a do some awesome work from the Great White North, and also on the Biff Pod stream, and that's been commentated right now on by, I think, Alex McDougall and Nick Nanavati, and that's the other game. So by all means, people should be dual screening this. Yeah, I actually thought of doing that as well. I actually wanted to have the other one up on my phone, sitting in front of me, so I can watch the other one and enjoy that while I have to commentate on this. So yeah,
Get your TV on, get your iPad on, get your computer going, get your phone going.
Crack out some hobby,
all at
man,
once.
and triple screen. You'll feel like the architect in the Matrix. You know, he has that room of screens. Just be like absorbing all the hammer information. It's so good.
Yeah, man, that's what I was doing yesterday. I had 2 basketball games on separate things. I had I had the charity hammer going on another one. Yeah, so I was doing that yesterday.
You are an animal. All right,
Getting some painting done.
So
it doesn't look. I don't think we're into the shooting phase yet. I think we're still doing some movements, but man. So we've just seen a bit of a spread by Peter up to the top left, which is that's actually what I thought he was going to do. Is make a spread. It's probably going to make a play for the top left objective. That's some scions, I believe. You see where they've dropped all the way to the left, all the way on the left side, just above the leftmost L terrain piece. Had 5 scions drop down there. I'm assuming that's because he's taken scramblers. I'm hoping Peter wasn't crazy enough to try and take engage against a full Slaanesh Demon army.
No, yeah, I think you're right there. I think scramblers is a good guaranteed 10. As long as he can get into his deployment zone there, which is probably why Paul was screening out in the back left there.
Yeah.
So we've got some orders. You also got some orders coming in. We're going to be dialing up some Dakas.
We're going to go over here. Rider to start with.
Oh no, so he's double moving. He gets orders. So Death Rider commanders can give regular guard orders
All
to
of their
Death
guns.
Rider squadrons, and so you can like I said before, you can double move these damn things. They move 10 plus D6, so they can move like friggin' 20 plus 2d6. They can move 32 inches in a turn technically, and I think that's just it gives so much power to guard armies that are already quite mobile, but they're mobile on really not durable platforms. They're mobile on stuff that's just gonna freaking die.
They are 1.
All right, cool. All right, that solves his question.
What is this? What is this squad to the left of the top Vanguard veteran unit? Is that his Furies? Actually, yes, that is. I'm going to assume that is the Slaanesh Furies that have come down there, and that was to get his 3 points on engage. Because I was trying to figure out how we got 3 points on engage. Because I'm assuming his secondary jumped up from 3 to 6. So that was 3. I'm assuming from priority targets, and another 3 from engage. And I was trying to figure out how he got his 3rd for engage. And yeah, there was just the Furies. And if you see, the Furies are not there anymore. They just got
kind of annoying for Peter that they're sitting there. He's going to have to deal with them. I suppose he has a few bulk pistols and all that sort of stuff from the Marines laying around that he can just get rid of them. But it's something that he has to get rid of, otherwise engage will continue.
Continue to ramp up, yeah, of course. And so he can sling a couple of other units. Yep, that unit of that single fiend that survived from the first unit of 4 has been picked up. We're going to see a boot scoot. That is a nice 6-inch boot scoot from that Talan tank commander. He is about to shoot at the second. I'm interested to see where he goes in because I don't think he's got range on anything unless he can lay 1d6 on something. Might be 1d6 on a keeper. Yeah, 6 shots.
Choice there by Peter there too, Adam. The bottom center of the table there it looks like that's where he's put his other 5 silence. So
it is
able to only do scramblers once per turn. I would have thought maybe they would have come down in the next turn.
No, it's turn 3, brother. He had to come down now. Turn 2, he had no good drops.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, turn 2 he had no good drops. Turn 3, he had to drop him. Luckily, he's going to put some Vanguard vets into the bottom right-hand fiends. Looks like we got that is a bad roll.
So 46.
So he put oh yuck.
That is 12, 16, command point the 1 into yeah.
Did he just one-shot a keeper?
17.
Okay. I'll say there's not many days.
Oh, I think he just command pointed 1 to 1.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yikes.
everyone's favorite.
I'm gonna roll
Oh, yikes.
the heavy volter. Cool.
Oof. He needs to ball or roll some 6s here. He's got those feel no pains. He needs to crank up the 6s. Oh, so he got 6 shots on his
On 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Yeah, he got 6 shots, and it's just yuckness. 1 tank commander with 1d6 shots and then 2 multi-melter shots should probably not kill a 4+ invulnerable save keeper. But these things happen. That's a game. That is a game. That is a game. That is a game tilting loss there. Yuck! I feel sorry for you, Paul. That probably should not happen. And that is a boot scoot there by the tank commander as well, keeping his distance.
Not
more damage.
Not to show my imperial bias at all, but that is what you get.
Rough. Dude, I play nothing in Imperium, and even I'm like, that's rough, brother. It's
definitely rough.
That's cold as ice.
Yeah,
Charlie
we're
Murphy.
seeing a lot of damage coming out of these tank commanders.
Oh, dude, they're actually brutalizing. The 4 shots with the multi-melters plus 2d6. So essentially having 4 plus 2d6, a possibility of having 16 essentially d6 damage shots coming out of these guys, or with rend 3 or better. It's actually messed up, man.
Yeah, that's it. I'm in the chat there. Protoculture's asking who got first turn. I do believe Peter got first turn, or Happy Grunts just got there and beat me to it. And yes, he is a Space Marine and Imperial Guard player.
Homeboy here.
I think Paul's probably needs to be able to do something to get into those tank commanders, and obviously he can't just completely tie them up because he'll be able to shoot into combat, but he needs to do something to stop them from just absolutely demolishing him.
Yeah, he's played. It didn't play off. He pulled himself out of like minimum safe distance, so he couldn't get double tapped by a tank commander. It didn't matter. It didn't matter because he rolled like 6 shots on his 1d6, and then those 6 shots turned into 4d6 damage, and just iced that. that poor lad up. Keeper's not a poor lad, but yeah, just ice the
Yeah,
guy.
that's it.
Um,
Well, like you mentioned at the start earlier about the double move from the tank. So I brought up how it was sitting in the bottom left-hand corner, and Paul was doing everything he could to take it out of the play. And you said that I was incorrect and that Peter was able to double move and get some shenanigans. And that's exactly what he's done. He's able to bring it back into the center of the table there and absolutely cause pain to poor Paul. Greater demons there.
all right, so Pop Culture's just asked in the bottom right ruin what is sitting in the ruin. So we have a unit of Death Riders, we have a unit of Infiltrators, we have what looks to be a Captain, or either that or it's the Reaver Lieutenant. We've at least 5, possibly 10 Vanguard veterans. I think we've got 10. I think we're tuning to 5 Vanguard veterans there, and they are going into combat with what appears to be 2 remaining Fiends. They will be picked up in short order. The kit on the Vanguard vets, just quickly, he's got 2 units of 10. They all have 10 Storm Shields, so just 10 Storm Shields. One unit has 5 Power Fists, one unit has 4 Power Fists. Both have 5 Lightning Claws, and one unit has a Thunder Hammer. So they're all brutalizers, and they're all very hard to kill. So he's doubled down, taking Storm Shields on every single one of them, and then half Fists, half Lightning Claws, essentially.
They all have storm shields.
Okay, I'm gonna do 3. Each one's gonna do 3 claws in their tail. You only can make
Yes, essentially the keepers can't scoot that way. Well, he could have if he was willing to commit, say 2, maybe 3 to the Endeavor. He could, but yeah, not with 1 now. Now that he only has 2 keepers left, I'm not quite sure what he does to keep that relevancy.
We're seeing lots of 1s and 2s again here.
Oh, dude, yuck, poor boy.
1 AP3.
1 at AP3. Cool. That's storm shield safe.
Okay.
The always strikes first on the Slaanesh Fiends is pretty nice. It means that they're going to get punched by one thing first, then they're going to get a chance to fight back. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're seeing some Vanguard vets come around, obviously.
Yeah.
Not seeing any Fiends disappearing, though.
Yeah, me. I'm really surprised they're still there, man. I thought they'd just be like vaped in short order, like they just get picked up. But the fact they're still there is actually quite interesting, because there is. I was trying to think of OBSEC there. There is the Infiltrators there for minimum OBSEC. I'm not quite sure what the Death Riders are OBSEC. They're troops. There's Death Rider commands.
Oh, the Death Riders are as well. Okay, I assumed he was just using those Infiltrators there just to get 1 or 2 on to make them OBSEC, but I didn't know the Death Riders were also. That's good. That's actually a good play. Them being OBSEC is a big deal. That could be happy to take a play for that center.
I think I'm incorrect actually. I think they're fast attack choices.
Yeah, I assume that would be similar to the old Rough Riders. I assume that would be like that, which were fast.
Someone will confirm. I don't think they can get OBSEC now that I'm thinking about it, because I think I'm thinking about like Grenadiers and stuff that now no longer exist, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, OBSEC would be great. If they could go up to that center objective, that could turn the time here.
Dude, 32-inch slinging OBSEC, 3 wound Space Marines. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good, brother.
Snowflakes asked if it was Space Wolves that he's swooping in. No, it's not Space Wolves, mate. It is a Raven Guard.
Yeah. So that is... Yeah, it's Raven Guard successors, so they're Born Heroes and Whirlwind of Rage. Is Whirlwind of Rage, is that the +1 hit on the charge?
Don't know offhand.
Why? Why don't you? It's fine. I got the codex. I got the codex right here. I will pull that up for you guys momentarily. But yeah, Whirlwind of Rage and Born Heroes.
This keeper?
I do believe you're right, Adam.
Yeah, I think it's plus to charge as well. Oh man, it's so hard to navigate these books now. I mean, it's always hard. Every time they come up with a new like layout for the codexes, it's just crazy. Born Heroes reads, each time model this tactic makes a melee attack. If that model's unit made a charge move, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. So yeah, spot on for that one. And Whirlwind of Rage, where are you? You can each time a model with this tactic makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move or was charged or performed a heroic invention, a modified hit roll 6 is 1 additional hit. So exploding 6s and +1 hit on the charge. So they hit on 2s. Nice. Exploding 6s. Very sexy.
Yeah.
It is, and we've just actually seen Paul move away from that center objective and get out of line of sight completely from those tank commanders. Actually, that claw may still be visible. The big claw that she's got on her hand there, that could still be visible right through the center of the table there. I would be shooting at that if I could do. Yeah.
Unfortunately, because that rule would be obscuring, so to get around obscuring terrain, you'd be able to draw a line. You draw that 1 millimeter line from their whole. Yeah. So he'd probably be pretty safe. You can't shoot the claws, which I'm very happy about. It felt so bad.
Yeah, that is
it felt so bad. Like, cool. I can see the tip of your claw. I'm gonna blow your head off somehow and kill you.
Yeah, playing my custo bikes, obviously with their big spears hanging out everywhere, and yeah, that's a very good rule.
Snowflake Supreme seems odd to me. White Scars would make more sense in my head. It must be a tech thing I'm missing. So Raven Guard bring a kind of depth of jank and depth of tech. 100% I agree. White Scars in a straight line is obviously more powerful, and they are so obviously potent that it's actually incredible. The fallback in charge is just
She has
insanely good.
collectible rifle
Raven Guard have a bunch of redeploy stratagems that add a whole new dynamic to lists that turn a lot of matchups on their heads, and also have all the infiltrating stuff as well. On top of that, they actually have like their plus to hit and wound against characters, which actually in tactical doctrine makes them very scary against a myriad of opposition. And a bunch of relics in their warlord traits. Well, the thing is though, Raven Guard is a
This one, if you really want to get it.
Raven Guard is a so said perfectly. Protoculture playing Raven Guard is such a headache. That's exactly what it is. People have figured out a lot of what to expect from White Scars at the moment. So this is just a thing that Space Marine players have done because they're bastards and want to keep messing with you. Essentially, they're like, okay, everyone's figured out all my tech and everything I'm going to do to them playing White Scars. I guess I'll jump back into the toolbox, write a completely different list with a completely different toolbox, and okay, we're back to status quo. Everyone doesn't know what I'm going to do anymore.
That makes sense.
She does with the super strength.
Yeah, that's it. I think the obvious power of White Scars was pretty popular early. We saw John Lennon do a lot of magic with that. But like you mentioned, everyone knows what's coming. Turn 3 is when the power's coming. Raven Guard gives you options. So even when you're deploying your army and you're deploying your units, you don't really know what they're going to do, whether they're going to push forward early, whether they're going to scout up and get into your grill, or if they're going to sit back and hang out. So they give you lots of different options, which is like Protocol mentioned, it is a bit of a drama in your head. Gives you takes away your options. So this demon army doesn't know how to deploy exactly against it because the Raven Guard could easily just come forward. Obviously, it's a bit fine for the Slaanesh army we have here. They want to be in combat, but things like admective screens, things like sisters, things like other Marines, other White Scars army, they don't want to be fighting Raven Guard turn 1, but Raven Guard give them the option to do that. So that's why we're seeing a lot more people move over to them.
Check morale over
You're actually right. In this army, in this instance, Peter doesn't have super doctrines, doesn't have any doctrines at all. But I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to Australia, because most of our best Marine players are all playing Raven Guard. And that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about, their reasons for switching, because they all were playing White Scars, and now they're all playing Raven Guard. So it's just the depth of jank has just changed the metrics for a lot of players, and it's actually really interesting. So yeah, I wasn't talking about this army of Peter specifically. As you can see, the unit of Scions that was to the left of that L is now being picked up, and the unit of Scions in the bottom right has one guy left. I believe that's been through smites and through whips. I think, he's just rolled in. Yeah, he just picked him up.
It would be interesting to know then if you did take the scramblers, which one got the scramblers?
I'm assuming he would have scrambled the backfield, yeah? Surely he scrambled his opponent's deployment, because at least he still has things like the Vanguard vets and the infiltrators to come forward into the no man's land to get it. Because that's actually an interesting thing. To take scrambles with this army, you only have your Vanguard vet units and the Scions to get the scramblers, because naturally the Death Riders being cavalry can't do it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, hopefully he did do it on the backfield, because I think center objective is where he needs to start heading towards. He's going to have to start pushing those Vanguard vets. I would maybe even start pushing a big chunks of those Vanguard vets onto that second objective, because he's going to start getting behind on the primary. He's going to have to really start taking away on that. Secondary wise, he's behind as well. So depending on what he took, obviously not knowing what he's taken is a bit of a different call. But yeah, I'd be looking at pushing those Vanguard vets, all with Storm Shields. Just let him get stuck into combat on that center objective and just make a mess of it. I believe with a 3-up invo, he'd probably wind down the attrition war. Yes, Slaanesh is going first, but he's got a fair few lightning claws. He's got a fair few attacks there. Obviously, they're a bit more durable being Space Marines themselves. So I'd like to see him push into that center objective. What do you reckon, Adam?
Yeah, me too. I'd like to see him get into the middle. I think if Peter wants to sling this or crawl this back, from what I believe is around a 10-point deficit at the moment.
Yep.
Because I think the margin actually has. Actually, no, the margin might have closed down, because it would have been 3 from engage again. He's going to get 2 this turn from engage, so he's not going to get 3 because I don't think he can get anything into the top right-hand corner. He's only got 10 this turn at the start of his turn for primary, so he's going to be 25 for primary, another 3 there, another 3 there. I don't know what his third secondary is my issue. I don't know what the Paul's third is, because we know he's got engage, and we know he's taken priority objectives, because it's just what you do in this mission, because it's just stupid not to. So he's going to be sitting on at least another 5 coming in for his secondaries. So he's 25 plus 14, so he's going to be on 39, probably around abouts. Whereas Peter probably hasn't finished Scramblers. Undoubtedly hasn't finished Scramblers. I didn't see him do No Man's Land last turn. So I don't believe that's there for him yet. He's probably got another 3 on his score for primary. So he's got 5 on his score for primary. He's probably got another 3. Oh, sorry, no, he held 10. He left 10. He held 2. Definitely held 2 over his opponents. Another
He holds 2,
10
yeah.
for
So
primary.
Peter,
Yeah, 25 to 20 on
That's
primary.
really good.
Here we go. Here come the Vanguard vets. They are going to do the scramble on the. They are going to scramble the no man's land.
No, they
I don't
won't.
think he is.
100%.
It looks
Well,
like
they
it looks
don't.
like he's going to make a charge.
Nothing to charge. Oh, okay, yeah, different unit. Sorry, man.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
We're gonna have to advance this spot.
We have for Paul, he's got his this one of your guys are missing scramblers as well.
So they are going to go.
So what was that, mate? So we've got scramblers for Paul. What else?
Long,
So we've got
happy
scramblers,
chain.
engage, and priority.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna freeze them.
Lovely.
I'm gonna freeze them in time.
And what have we got for Peter?
How's that sound?
For Peter, we've got assassinate, priority, and scramblers.
Yep. Beautiful. That makes a lot of sense to me.
For those at home that are unaware, priority
we're going
targets
to
is obviously
have
the secondary that's taken
This
there, and that's
guy
the mission.
advance.
Yeah, pro target is the mission literally just sit on your home objective, get 3 points a turn. It's ridiculously silly.
And then this guy.
But as for Paul's scramblers, so Paul's probably pretty close to getting his scramblers. I can't see that he's done it in his opponent's deployment zone yet, which actually might be an issue because all he's got left to do it was his 2 units of demonettes that he's got still strung out and about, and they look pretty out of position to get it done anytime soon. The fact that they're going to have to advance to do it as well from all the positions they're in now might mean it's a bit difficult for him to get. Looks like we've actually had a big move from that tank commander. He's actually slinging. Peter's starting to get his motor on. He's starting to use that good diesel powered chug goodness, and they're starting to get him around the board. Peter with assassinate, he's picked up 2 keepers. So that's 6 points there so far. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. As for priority targets, they'll both be on 6, and Peter will be on 9 for that as of now. Actually, sorry, this is the start of Peter's turn 4, so he's about to go up to. No, that'd be 9 on it. Sorry, because you don't score a turn 1. Actually, sorry, do you score a turn 1? It's that stupid you score a turn 1, guys, because that's how you have to get 15 on it, because you can score a turn 1. Scramblers, we're not sure he's done mid zone, but you can see where those Vanguard vets are lined up. They do have to be outside 6 inches of your own deployment zone in order to be. You have to be outside your opponent's by 6 inches outside your own. So it's like this middle band you have to be in. I'm assuming he's going to get that done. This turn for his 10 from scramblers. So right now, Peter's looking in a pretty comfortable position. 12 on primary orders, 6 for assassinate, and 10 for scramblers. Is already sitting on, what is that? 12, 22, 26. He's already sitting on 28 for his secondary score at the moment for Peter. Pretty nice. Scramblers for Paul is lagging a little bit behind. I'm pretty sure he hasn't scrambled his opponent's deployment zone. His engage is quite healthy though. So he's got min 2. I think he's got a 2, a 3, and a 3 at 2. So 2 for the first turn, 3 for the second turn, and then 2 for the last turn. So he's sitting on a nice 7 for there. And priority orders, he's on the same 9 that Peter is, and he's about to get in top of his turn. He will get his next 3. So without scramblers, that might mean Peter wins it. If Paul can't get scramblers, Peter's going to win this because right now he'd be up by about 5 points. So Paul's up by 5 on the primary, but Peter's up by 10 from getting scramblers where his opponent hasn't. So we'll see how close that makes the end result. But I like this. Interesting. I like this close.
Yeah,
man, here they come.
I'm liking this big push towards the center. This is what we mentioned earlier, that he needs to start doing something towards taking that center, otherwise he'll be dragging behind. But this is a big play. So he's just going to chuck everything on, like we mentioned earlier, and just see how we go. I think he won't be able to deal with everything. Those fiends that he's got there to counter assault won't be able to deal with everything. It seems like maybe old Pistol Pete's got these tank commanders going down hunting these greater demons in the bottom left-hand corner. So he's going to be a bit scared to bring them out. Obviously, Paul's felt the wrath of them pretty badly. The losing 1 per turn is scary. It's enough to make you want to second guess what you're doing with your secrets out there.
Hold on, where's my officer?
Well, he's corralling him, isn't it? He's saying that if you move up, you're going to get shot by both. If you move down, it'll stay where you are. That one at the bottom is going to get shot by both. So that one at the bottom needs to move behind Shalaxi, in which case they're both corralled into this kind of neutral negative position where they can't really do a hell of a lot of relevance. You're about to see all these Death Riders double move, by the way. Like those 2 units of Death Riders in the middle, they're about to double move again, and he's going to have like all 20 of them or whatever, how many there are, just in case sitting on that middle objective with the Vanguard vets ready to counterattack into, like, with at least 2 units, maybe 3 units of Vanguard vets ready to counterattack into the Fiends if and should they go in. I think that's pretty good by Paul. Sorry, by Peter. I think it's quite good. Go guy named Peter versus a guy named Paul. Love it. I love the gas mask by Peter as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, shout out to Pete for getting right into the Death Corps motif there.
He's right in, yeah. I was asking where his shovel is. I'm like, dude, where's your freaking shovel? Get it.
Well, they're in the garage there. It looks like it could be somewhere.
So much better not wearing that.
He seems to be using that shovel to dig himself out of a bit of a hole that we thought he was in earlier. And seems to be getting more of a commanding lead there. So he's doing well, Pete.
Look at the power of the Scions, though. Just being able to deep strike 5 Scions to get you to scramble your opponent's backfield. So powerful. That might be the difference in this game. The fact that he was able to do that, his opponent wasn't able to do that. Like, he hasn't been able to sling Demonettes into his backfield in order to get scrambled there. But, 5 Scions was able to do it. It's a big deal, man.
Yeah, Peter's done well. He held his nerve and he held off and he held back to actually stop that completely, because those had he pushed forward and got into combat with his Vanguard vets, like maybe Paul was hoping that he would have, he could have maybe snuck those Furies into the back there and easily got scrambles. That was probably Paul's play there with those Furies. But Pete's done well. He's held his nerve like a good Death Corps of Krieg player would, sitting in the trench, just waited for his time, and now he's out pouncing and attacking.
Well, there is the possibility that those Furies we saw did make it into Peter's deployment zone.
That is true.
It is possible from where they were, but this is a really hard deployment to think and quantify in your head. Yeah, we're looking at the double move right now.
Yeah, you're right there, Adam. They definitely would have. Looking at the priority target deployment zone, which on the right-hand side, the red deployment goes right up into the center of the table. So for him to be able to get engaged, he would have definitely been in the deployment zone there.
So we're actually looking pretty close then. So this is actually going to come down to how good Peter's assassinate is versus how good Paul's engage.
It's also going to be a option
ages, because the other two are going to neutralize each other out. They're both going to get 15 almost. Yeah, they're both going to get pretty much 15 for priority. I can't see either of these guys taking away either the bottom left or the top right objectives. They've both got 10 for scramblers, and so right now Peter's sitting on 6 for assassinate versus 7 for Paul on engage. That's where the game is going to be won or lost at the moment. He's got to keep his character safe. At the same time, he has to sling stuff into quarters to keep the engage points there. Look at how powerful this double move is. He's completely insulated this objective. There's no way for the way he's moved. There's no way for him to get a single model onto that objective. The power of the.
We're actually seeing a lot of the new FAQ changes to the last turn playing out here, because Peter's using that to his going first. He knows he's got to come out a bit earlier than he usually probably would, and he's got to be able to block this. He's got to be able to block the right thing off, because like you said, those Fiends, they're going to have to completely chew through them, which I don't know. I don't see them getting right through. Like you mentioned, they're very durable, these units, so they're not going to be able to just get right through. So he's going to have to commit more. He's going to have to commit those and probably the keepers there. And it looks like on the bottom right-hand side, because we're going to see another move from these tank commanders, and I do believe we're going to see some line of sight maybe to the bottom keeper. There we go. We're seeing some movement.
Yep.
Whether or not that can get line of sight, I don't know. But the one that's coming down now, I definitely think that's going to be able to see it.
Yeah, I definitely think that one will. The one right at the bottom is, I think it's probably not. It depends if that bottom ruin they've got there, the bottom box is being counted as obscuring. If it's not, he definitely can. Whether or not he's in range, to be determined. But that one above, I would be definitely thinking he's in range and can see.
Yeah, well, they're drawing line of sight to it, so it looks like it's not obscured. I'd say that's not a 5-inch building. It looks like a 1 level. If we look, you've got the side on view, yeah. So no, that's only a 1 level building. So I do believe he'll be able to shoot over the top of that. So it'll be interesting to see whether we can get rid of that keeper. So that's going to be a big play there. He needs to keep them alive so he can counter assault up into those Death Riders.
Yeah, on top of that, he needs them to deny his opponent getting the assassinate points, and because like I said before, this is going to come down to primary and assassinate versus engage on the secondaries. And right now the primary is looking like it's going to be very swingy one way or another, but it's only going to be about 5 points in it. I think this is Peter's turn 4, so. Yeah, without the Greater Demons, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Without the Greater Demons, I don't know how he kills enough Death Riders to take the middle objective back. So he might be better off going for the top right. or the bottom right. But the bottom right, it doesn't have any units of relevance down there to make a significant investment. So the Fiends and the Demonettes on the top might make a sling into the top right. Admittedly, all he would need to do there is kill what I believe is 5 infiltrators, and then he would have OBSEC supremacy there. So that might be a thing.
Going down to 1
Yeah, that's it. We've seen on the top left-hand side, Paul's only got like 1 or 2 Demonettes actually sitting on that objective as well. So if need be, there's probably something that Peter could do. You could probably send some of those vanguards up on the top left-hand side and make a bit of a play for that. Take the objective.
Well,
obviously they're OBSEC as well, but if you can kill a couple of them, the
100%, man. He's gonna do that not to kill those guys. He's gonna do that to corral Paul and make him not have a big last turn investment, a big last turn sling.
Yes.
So he'll do that simply just to keep Paul where he wants him.
Yeah, I'm liking Pete's played a really good game here. Pete's played a great game.
Yeah, but it's only because of the flexibility of his units. It's only because he's able to double move these Death Riders. He's able to essentially, like, to all intents and purposes, triple move his tank commanders, e.g. you can move and advance them and then shoot, then scoot, or scoot, then shoot. It just makes them into a horrendously flexible unit that could really, you think has limitation.
They're moving around like Elder vehicles here. Just seeing them moving around wherever they want. They're like Elder tower vehicles.
They're moving 16 inches a turn and laying down with, D6 up to 10 D6 damage shots with very high strength and range. They are
multi-melters, everything. The damage they're putting out is phenomenal.
Yeah, they're a brutalizing unit. I'm really, really, really big fan.
Yeah, massively. And we've actually seen that's pretty much what he's done all of his damage with. So he hasn't been in combat. He hasn't done any shooting. He's got no other shooting really in the list here. The Science doesn't have any plasma guns or anything like that. He doesn't have any Inceptors, which we see very commonly in Space Marine lists. It's just those tank commanders are doing absolute work. So guard players out there, dust off your tank commanders, get them out, get them back on the table because they're doing some damage.
Dust out your Talan tank commanders.
Yeah, Talan only, yeah.
No, well, take any tank commanders you want. You're never going to go wrong taking a tank commander, unless you take like an Eradicator or something trash. But try the Talan ones, give them a go, because a lot of people have shifted off them simply because of the reliability and damage increase you get from spotters. The extra reroll one of the dice for how many shots you get just brings you so much reliability. But the jank level and the flexibility level that Talan brings you, I think, is like kind of without equal in today's day and age.
Yeah, I think Talan with Silence, I like Silence a lot. The ability to just be able to just get units off the table. Just use your tank commanders and your mana cores and your wyverns and whatnot just to be able to wipe units off. And then just have your Silence drop late game, like even you can hold them off till turn 3 a lot of the time, just drop them down. And then by the time you've gotten rid of the stuff that the people are playing that can actually kill your Silence, you get rid of those things and you just drop them down and set the objectives. It's good. Guards still have a lot of play.
Exactly right. Now, so this is the way I think about it. If I was going to quantify it for people at home, why Talan is better than the others. So in a 5-turn game, look at what happened here. Yeah? In a 5-turn game, the same thing happened, but these weren't Talan tank commanders. There would be 1, maybe even 2 turns of the game where 1, maybe even 2 of them could not have shot. Yeah? Because of terrain.
On the WTC style terrain that we're seeing here.
Exactly. But when you have the Talan ones and they shoot every turn, you apply pressure every turn, you open yourself up to variance every turn, you open yourself up to opportunity every turn. If you just have 2 turns of a 3-turn game where your super tank commander that rerolls one of his D6s and has all the extra crap doesn't shoot, then it's not as good as the one that shoots every turn, It's automatically not as good as the one that shoots every turn. The one that shoots every turn is just better than the one that doesn't shoot every turn. And that's why
especially when you're paying the points that you are paying for it. So what did we say earlier? 235 points each of these bad boys?
I think it's 245 because of the multi-melter.
Oh, yeah? Because multi-melters, yeah. So you're definitely going to want to get a lot of mileage out of this, which Peter has been able to do. So like you've mentioned, these tank commanders, yeah, I think they're a go-to for guard players, especially Talan, like you mentioned. I really like them. I see them doing a lot of damage. It gives you different options too. Being toughness 8, it's hard to chew through. And then, like you mentioned, mana cores, they're very popular. If you've got those mana cores at the back, people want to kill those mana cores as well. So you can push forward with those tank commanders. They can shoot in combat. Just having them push into units that can't kill them. It's very hard for most units to be able to kill a toughness 8 model while it's getting shot in the face with multi-melters, heavy bolters, and a Punisher cannon.
Yeah, exactly right. Have you had a look at some of the raffle prizes for this? Have you had a look at the Necron army?
Mate, running through me. What do we got? Oh, the Necron, gold Necron army. I have seen that. That is beautiful.
Yeah, so just the prizes. So 40k giveaways, brand new inbox products. There's an Orcs loot box. So that's comes with 2 Dakka Jets, 4 units of Bikers, 2 mech guns, a unit of flash kits, a pain boy, and a unit of meganovs, all new in box, every single new in box. So pretty much a starter army ready to go. There is a 2,000 point commission painted Necron army ready to rock and roll. You can just put this thing on the table and play it. It's pretty impressive as well. It's all gold and kind of turquoise OSL. Bunch of Necron warriors, 2 ghost arcs, a Catacomb command barge with an extra lord on foot. It looks like somewhere in the region of 32. I think that's probably around 40 Necron warriors. 9 race, so a good number of race, kind of the right number of race. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9, 10. Sorry, 10 race. Where'd the other 2 go? And 2 ghost arcs. It has a freaking Tesseract arc as well, Tesseract Vault. So yeah, 2,000 points, beautifully painted, ready to put on the table, ready to play. Just win it and just play with it. And then lovingly, Paul, gentleman playing the Slaanesh Demons right here. One of his keeper secrets. Like a painted demon prince that he plays as a keeper is up for grabs. I think it's a creature caster model or it's a third-party model. It's a beautiful model, already gorgeously painted in the Slaanesh color scheme, being the pinks and purples and blacks and a little bit of orange to some pop. So those are all up for grabs, in addition to a bunch more, I believe. And you just get that by entering. You just get that by donating, by entering, by jumping and getting involved, guys. So please jump over to the
So
link
for
I just
people
showed.
that don't know how you donate, what you do is you it's for every $30 donated, you will get a raffle ticket. So that's awesome, man. Not only are you just giving money to charity that's going to help cause a great cause, help stop a great cause, you're also going to get a prize to win that Necron army.
Exactly right, man. And I would love to win that Necron army. If I won Necron army, I'd probably do Necrons. That's one of the things, yeah. Like I wouldn't start Necron army, but if I went and won one, I would play Necrons. We've just seen a score update, guys. Look at that score update. Look at it.
So Red Squad is going to be physically
Except for Peters doesn't add up.
Yeah, except look, it's yeah.
I don't think he's added scramblers on there. I think he's got 10 more points for scramblers he hasn't put there.
Yeah, that could be the case. Yep.
Because then it's 4. Then it's a 71. So you do
Yeah,
primary 35 to 30, secondaries what I believe is 35 to 41. So, man, 1 point freaking game going into the bottom of turn 4. Yikes! Looks like there was at least a handful of wounds done on that bottom keeper. That keeper is in range that if it wanted to, it could make a charge onto those Vanguard vets in the bottom right hand corner, or it could make a charge onto the Death Riders. But the thing is, like, if you see what Peter's done, there's one unit of Death Riders completely along the outside of that ring. They're ringing a second unit on the inside, so it's actually really hard to get into contact, a meaningful contact with both. Because you could easily put two keepers into the front squad, and they would kill the front squad. But then you're still outnumbered on the objective because you've got 9 guys insulated in the middle. They need to put the Fiends in as well, and then that's actually kind of a no bueno situation. The Fiends are actually better off slinging themselves across the table right now, charging that unit of Vanguard vets, trying to kill it and neutralize one of the main threats, so they can try and make a turn 5 play onto the top right hand objective. At least that's my thinking.
You basically need to.
No, you're right there, and I think Pete's left his Vanguard vets on the right hand side as a counter assault unit for that turn 5, just in case. Which, like you said, is very unlikely. But if Paul does manage to get through a few of those Fiends, he's actually got a backup unit there and be able to just chuck forward.
Yeah, he's got the secondary unit, but look, I think Paul needs to go for it.
He definitely needs to go for it because sitting back's not going to help him at all.
No. Well, he's losing right now. He's down by a point.
Yeah, that's it. He needs to get stuck in. Having last turn options here, this is obviously what they're discussing. They're obviously going through what Paul's options are to get through this center unit here because it's a massive deal. Pete's made a massive play here.
Yeah, he has. I'm not sure. Like in 2 turns, he can take those Death Riders off, and if he kills them all, he's got the opportunity to have a turn 5 15-point primary at the bottom of turn, which probably would clinch the game. But I'm of the opinion that's kind of the only thing he can do. The reason I wanted the Fiends to go into the Vanguard vets on the top right, because in addition to getting rid of that big hammer unit and threatening the home objective, he also unlocks more engage points. And his stuff's just gonna die, man. So it's gonna die anyway. His stuff's been dying every turn. He's got to go for it, and I think he can. I think he's got some plays.
Yeah.
So
Nuremberg has predicted that Paul will win 85 to Peter's 80. So I've got some predictions going. Anyone else in the chat here? Give us a prediction what you're going for. Zivail 45. I hope I pronounced that correctly. He's going for Paul here. Like you've touched on earlier, yes, over 2 turns he may be able to get through those those Death Riders there. But if
Let me know
those
when I can
Vanguard
talk,
vets,
Adam.
which he's got on the top right, they're going to be a lot more trouble there with their Storm Shields. As we know, they've all got Storm Shields. Them jumping in there, it's going to be very hard. The change to FAQ, the way rules have changed here, it's actually a big deal for yourself.
Guys,
and
we've got an update from the
me,
players.
Adam, because it gives us a bit
Hold
more
on.
to talk about up until turn 5. It actually makes
I
it a
don't
bit
know if
more
they're just not
exciting
hearing
right
us
up
for
until
some
that
reason.
final turn.
I don't know if they.
Some of the games
Peter.
that we've seen have been a bit sort of decided by turn 4, but we're seeing this is going to go down to the wire. This one, this is a nail biter.
Absolutely. I think we've got Peter's just joined us. Are you there, man?
Wait for an opening.
We've got an update here.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, lay it on us. Yeah, I can.
Can I have the headset real quick? Here you go.
Hey, Mitch, my baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm the one talking to you. So, quick update just to give you an idea of what the state of the game is. Basically,
Yep.
Paul right now has a 5-point lead on primary because I failed to kill a fiend earlier.
Yep.
Because that's what it was. I have, however, a 1-point additional lead on secondaries. So the issue is he has to find a way to prevent me from getting 15 here and then tying that up without exposing characters. It's going to be really hard, nigh on impossible for him to catch up if he does that. And engage, if he wants to try and squeak ahead on engage, it's him throwing away assets. So
Yeah. So we've been talking that this game is actually really interesting because it's actually you guys have neutralized each other on two of your secondaries. It's actually going to end up being engage versus assassinate. Which one becomes more profitable? Admittedly, thinking that you're both going to come somewhere close to the same on primary. Yeah. So, dude, loving the game. You guys are both playing really well. I loved how Paul pulled back and then you. I thought it left you in the left, and then you rolled like a freak and just decided to kill a keeper anyway. It's so good.
Never doubt the tank commanders. I want John Lennon to know that. Do not doubt the tank commanders.
Never.
I mean, they
How
have been
dare-
the
how
MVPs here.
dare.
They have been the
will find out
MVPs.
where you sleep, and they'll put a demolisher cannon round there.
It's so good. And you made great use of Talan, mate. Well done. What is Paul's thinking here? What does he think he needs to do to win this?
Paul, what do you think you need to do with this? Do you want to give a little commentary to the stream?
Sure. Just talking to the mic.
Yep, just talking about
Yeah, so the only
Bill Saders
path to victory I see
sorry
at
to
this
jump
point
in there. He's asking the score correct. Yeah, the score is correct. I believe. Is it true, boys, that you haven't put the secondaries in correctly for Peter? Is it missing the scramblers?
Okay, sure. So the plan is, I have this unit Demonettes who have Obsect. I have this unit of Fiends. I have the Epitome and this full strength Keeper who are going to swing in. We're going to try to thin out the outer ring of Death Riders. Have the Obsect again so I can claim this. Then the Epitome will lock airband combat with the Fiends and hopefully just have a big melee ball that will not be able to be shot by the tank commanders, and that will give me a primary of 15 and hopefully push me over the edge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs to this. I don't know if all these pieces are correct.
Yeah.
But this is the only path to victory I have left. Anyway, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul, good job, Paul. Paul's trying to double down on the fact that he has a lot of ability to lock things in combat, and he's going to try and use that to insulate himself and try and get enough turns. He needs the 3 combats. He actually needs 3 combats phases to churn through what's on this objective. But if he can do it, and he will do it without being shot. The issue is how deadly the Vanguard vets on the counter assault become. Because admittedly, he's going to have at least one unit, possibly 2 units of Vanguard vets that are going to come in and invest in that unit of Fiends. And should they just wipe it, then the game's a no bueno. But the thing is, I would prefer. I'd like to see what he does with his charge, because what I'd like to see is a kind of you see right now you got the Demonettes above the Fiends. I want to see that flipped. The Demonettes is what you need to survive this combat. So I want the Fiends to insulate the Fiends to insulate the Demonettes from the counter assault from the Vanguard vets. Because if they're able to do that, the OBSEC just wins this game. Because there's no OBSEC on that middle objective.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, if he can get his Obsec sit on there, even just one model, he needs to just keep them alive. Don't he?
Yeah.
Just a
Exactly right. He needs to
for the
keep the
commentators. Those Demonettes are on the bottom floor. They're just visually on top.
Yep, exactly right. And could you update your score? Add on your scramblers, please, your secondaries, if you get a chance, Peter. Just confusing some guys in chat.
Peter, we need to update the scores.
We have as updated a score as possible.
Okay. So 70-71 is the update.
Okay.
Yes, that is the total.
Okay, cool.
Okay, just need to Mitch. He just needs to chuck 10 points on for his secondaries because he's got 30. He's got 30, 31, 71. So he hasn't put his 10 points on for scramblers.
So 35, 35, right?
No, he's saying that you
Yeah, we got 35, 35 for Paul and 30, 31 for Peter.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
30, 35 for Paul, 30, 31 is what it's showing now, but you have 10 for scramblers.
So I have 6, 21, 31. Yeah, and then Paul has 25, 30. Oh, yeah, I gave Paul an extra 5 on secondaries. Give Paul 5 points, though. Like, remove 5 points from secondaries and give him 5 because I forgot to include paint score on him.
Okay.
So you're actually
All right.
very ahead. You're very barely ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, primary,
Total 5.
just add 5 to the total and remove 5 from the,
All right, they're just getting a secondary sorted out, guys. Hopefully you guys can hear that and it wasn't just some dead noise there. But we're getting sorted out for you. This is so man. Paul's going for it, dude. Because if he's able to actually get the Fiends to lock up and the Mirror to lock up these Death Riders without falling back, there won't be any options for his opponent to shoot. You won't be able to shoot anything onto that middle ring. Like both the keepers will be insulated because they can't be shot. Admittedly, they can all be charged. He's still got at least 4 units of Vanguard vets which haven't actually seen action yet, and when they do, it's going to be a hellacious. It's going to be a bit of a reckoning there. But it's getting
just to point out to people, Adam, what you're actually suggesting at home. So what you're suggesting is the Demonettes come in first, they tag into the Rough Riders, and then the Fiends themselves wrap around the Demonettes so that they can't be tagged by those Vanguard vets, so they can't be killed. So just to clarify what you're actually trying to do there.
It's hilarious that in this situation right now, the Demonettes are the crappiest unit here, but they're the only one that actually needs to be there at the end. The only one that he actually needs to survive. If the Demonettes can survive whatever crap storm is about to come down on them, he will get the 15 on the primary and he'll probably win this game. If the Demonettes get exposed and they die, he just puts one unit of Vanguard vets directly into Demonettes, picks them up, I think the game's over. So it's actually really down to how nuanced Paul gets with this movement phase and this charge phase. Admittedly, it's hilarious to say that. He's got 2 keepers, a secret stare, good Tornado Epitome, and 5 Fiends. And the only thing that actually matters is the 10 freaking Demonettes. Love it. Really, really, really cool. So yeah, a bit of nuance, bit of depth that needs to go into the planning of this one. But dude, the no fallback is so good. So good.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's gonna pay a big play here, isn't it? Because like we mentioned, he's just gonna get those Demonettes, hide him in there, use his. So Paul will be using Peter's own models as meat shields for him, so that he can't be shot.
Yeah.
Had he not had those rules, he could just fall back those Death Riders pretty far, just bust the tank commanders out there, then kill those Demonettes. But it's obviously going to be a bad option, and a non-option for Peter.
On top of that, he kills the Demonettes, he kills the Keepers, and he gets some more points on Assassinate.
True.
Amun 10, just to make it hard for us, right? This is the bottom of turn 4, so we got one more turn after this. And we just had an update on the score, sorry. It is still reading incorrect. 75-71. We're just going to hope the end scores are correct, because obviously these gentlemen, they're not doing the math quite so well. They're just pretty much focused on the game. Apologies for the belch, guys.
Look, there is the massive game-changing combat going on here. There's going to be wraps. There's going to be all different kinds of tricks and little bits of tech going on here. So the boys are stuck. While Pistol Pete's got some tank commanders moving around everywhere. So the boys have got other priorities.
He's cracked those whips, man. Those whips have cracked. He's killed 2, looks to be 1, maybe 2 Death Riders. Actually, no, it's just the 1. What that does is opened up the second ring of this insulation. He's going to be able to get into the second squad with at least a unit or 2. But important that he hasn't let that be the Fiends, and it hasn't let it be the Contorted Epitome either. Unless the Contorted Epitome makes a big first charge and goes into both, it wraps around, which would block off the charges for the Keepers, which he can't really afford to do. So it actually does make it a little bit messy. So that is a good...
So with that there, Adam, would have you liked to have seen Peter just move that second unit just back a touch, maybe move them back like 3.1 inches away, just so that their consolidation couldn't get into them, but still have them sitting on the objective there?
I'm sure there's much he could do. I mean, with what's probably going to be 3 smites and then a couple of whips, I'm not sure he blocks them off entirely. And he needed to, because the worst case scenario is he leaves just a gap that one 25 or 30 mil base from a Demonette can just move advance and put one guy 1 millimeter on it.
Straight in there, true.
And then none of those Death Riders matter at all. None of them matter. Like, never heard of him.
Yeah, never heard of you.
Never heard of you. So yeah,
obviously a couple of smites that he's used there straight away to get rid of them, and now he's going into the combat phase.
I think he's done his charge, and he's just.
So just for the people at home, they mentioned that those Demonettes are obviously on the bottom ground there. So it doesn't seem to be like he's wrapping around them like we thought. They may be able to get a counter assault from those Vanguard vets.
So yeah, from my point of view, the only unit actually Protoculture. So the Keeper of Secrets need to create a box for the Demoness to stay inside. The Fiends, the Fiends need to create a bit of an insulation bubble for the Demoness. I wanted the Demoness charge straight down from their position
So,
and connect with the
a bit of
just
commentary
one or
from-
two guys get in combat, and then just bubble out, and then the Fiends charge around them into the top to insulate them against the units of Vanguard vets coming in from the top right. Because I'm not sure that Paul's thinking that far ahead, but that certainly is probably what Peter's thinking. He's like, shit, I just sorry swearing. I just need to kill the Demonettes, and then I've still got enough Death Riders on this thing that it's mine.
So guys, what Paul's dealing with right now is both of his keepers can't fit in there if they charge in.
Yes.
So that's creating issues for Paul right now. So that's sort of the current state of things.
Yeah, I made a mistake.
Yeah, 100%, man. And that was where Paul was clever, knowing that with where he was pulling, because he had left those guys there. You could have snuck one within 1 inch, and probably the other one as well. So a good removal by Paul. I thought it was quite clever when he was doing it. It did open up the second ring, but it meant he wasn't going to get hit by 2 keepers. So you're like, yeah, I'd probably just do that, man. Seems good. And look, that other keeper that's the wounded one. It's left literally pissing in the wind in front of 2 tank commanders. That guy is cooked. That's another 3 points on Assassinate. It's going to go begging. But admittedly, it won't matter if it turns into a 10-point swing in the primary.
No, that's worse. She is in the breeze. Okay.
Protoculture. Yeah, the demons should base everything except 1 rider with like 1 demonette tagging into like 1 death rider, and then everything else based. That would be what I was trying to do. But maybe he didn't roll that big on the charges, because it doesn't look like he's got a hell of a lot of movement out of it. Like, it looks like he's got 1 fiend that's not even going to get to attack. But see, that 1 fiend, I'm not sure if this is unintentional or not, but he's had to leave 1 fiend back to hold that top left-hand objective, which is going to cost him attacks. Well, it cost him 1 guy's attacks. So I think they're 4 each. Someone confirm at home, 4 each, 5 on the sergeant equivalent. So it's still going to be 17 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s with some big rends on the 6s.
Yeah. Come on now.
Yeah, Protoculture's pointing out this looks awkward for the Demonettes. Yeah, personally, myself, I would have put them in first. They would have been the first unit that I put in.
Did you go in first? I think they're already in.
Did you go in first? Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they're already in. I think we can't see it from our perspective because we're seeing it from a bit forward. I think if they're on the bottom floor, just one of them is in 1 inch, so he's done that absolutely correctly, limiting the amount of attacks. But the issue is with the pilot, he's still going to get 3 or 4 Death Riders being able to attack into him. So yeah, this is deep, man. This is some deep.
I would have been looking at wrapping those Demonettes with the Fiends myself. Because I can see Peter's play now is those Vanguard vets are just going to come in, and if they're a Lightning Claw unit, they're going to have a lot of attacks coming in. They're going to do some damage to those Demonettes. I would have tried to make it so those Demonettes were untouchable. Wrap them with the Fiends.
Absolutely.
Give them a big cuddle. You know, Slaanesh likes to have a big cuddle, so that would have been a perfect play for them. Or cuddle on the objective and get wrapped up.
I'm interested to see how many Death Riders this Keeper kills. Admittedly, if the Keeper kills all the Death Riders, if the Fiends and the Keepers just kill all the Death Riders, it becomes a lot harder for Paul, so for Peter. But I'm of the opinion we're probably going to have about 5 left, either combined from both squads. There's going to be about somewhere between 5 and 7 left. But you can just at any point, you can just spike 5 up, feel no pains. You can just freaking spike them and nothing happens. So we've got 1 Death Rider being picked up. I'm hoping that's from Fiends. I'm hoping that's not from the Keeper. It might be from the Contorted Epitome as well.
Yeah, Protocol just suggested that he reckons they're going to lose 3 Riders per Keeper of Secrets. And that seems pretty right.
I think, somewhere between 3 and 4. But it really just depends on the 5+ feel no pains. Like, they're not going to get any armor saves. Well, it looks like the...
Well, we're seeing lots of 1s here again.
Was that it?
All right.
Yep.
Epitome is swinging into.
So far, we've only had what looks to be two Death Riders picked up, haven't we?
Yes, I believe it's just only. I don't know if the Fiends have attacked yet. I think it's just the Keeper then.
I think the Keeper's only picked up 2. Looks like we've got the Epitome coming in now. Yeah. Like I said, the 5s can just spike and you just get nothing done.
4 AP1s, so we'll do those.
So, 4 AP1s, that'll be from the Contorted Epitome.
That's
2 damage pop.
Yeah, 2 damage pop. Okay. So what's the rend?
AP4.
So that's 2 at going through. Okay. So that's going to be first one. Ignored.
Yeah, so he's just rolling his Feel No Pains now. The Contorted Epitome has gotten what I think is 4 wounds through. And so he's just rolling his 5 up Feel No Pains. I think that's 1 dead.
Cool. So that's 2 dead.
That's 2 more dead. So the Todd Epitome picked up 2 more. Not too bad there, really. So that's four dead. But that second unit was from the outside ring. So the inside ring has lost 2. Outside ring has now lost what I think is 5 or 6 out of 9. That was through smites and shooting and attacks now so far. Now the Fiends will pile in.
Get in there.
So Epitome's just consolidated. So that will lock up the Death Riders. Between the Fiends and the Epitome, there is no chance in hell they're going to be able to fall back.
So just looking at it there, Adam, that outside ring, I do believe the one on the bottom right-hand side of the objective there, is that part of the outer ring? Because if that's true, then have we lost coherency there from the other 3 on the top?
So it should be a 9-man. So it should be a 9-man inside, 9-man on the outside. So, but you might be absolutely right. I'm looking. So I think the keeper picked 1 from each squad. In which case it would be 8 on the middle, 4 left on the outside. So that would be 1 out of coherency, and it would pop at the end of this. But we'll see. It might just pop, dude. It might just.
So just for people following at home, the reason why he's done that, personally, I'd rather lose that one. Myself, rather than lose one of those ones that's blocking the Demoness from getting on the objective. So Peter's obviously choosing, if he needs to get rid of that, so be it. If he loses an extra one, but what he needs to do is stop those Demoness from getting on the objective.
There's actually a really sneaky thing if he's thinking this far ahead. Because he's split the squad, and the guys at the top are the ones locked with the guys he can't fall back from. He can choose to kill the 3 guys at the top when the morale happens, and pull himself out of the you can't fall back bubble.
Yeah, true.
And if he's thinking that far ahead, if he's that 3D 3D big brain chess right now, kudos to Peter, because that's a big deal. But if he is doing that, he still might bail to morale. But the coherency check happens after the morale. So he'd be able to try and pick himself out with the morale, and then if he can't, then he can try and pick himself out with the coherency check. That is actually a sneaky way of using that to your advantage and getting around things like this. But keep those in mind, guys, because they are a thing. And you see right now he's trying to pick himself out of that no fallback range for the Fiends, but the Fiends still have a consolidate that they can do, which should see them get back within 1 inch of both squads.
So that keeper secret in the middle there that hasn't actually made the combat. We mentioned earlier that that's some assassinate points if that dies.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly right. And this turn, if you look at this
not being
turn,
able to getting it into combat, why the combat wasn't a big deal. Again, he doesn't want to get shot by those tank commanders, as we've seen. The tank commanders just mowed down. So I think we've taken some wounds off that one already. I believe the objective marker, or the marker on the left-hand side, which has just been moved by his hands, is actually the wound marker for that. So we've seen some wounds taken from that secret as well. So that could be in some assassinate points there for Pete.
I'm of the opinion that keeper is absolutely freaking dead, man. It's already taken some wounds last turn, so it's compromised in some way, shape, or form already. But we've just seen the Demonettes pile in. They're exposing themselves very, very significantly to a counter assault. If you take right now, if no other Death Riders die, if no other Death Core Riders die, and the Demonettes aren't there, the Death Core hold the objective. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still 8 guys there, 9 guys there. If no one else dies and the Demonettes aren't there, it's Peter's objective. So all he has to do to win this game, pretty much, is kill the Demonettes. And yeah, it's actually kind of heinous. Although, sorry, forgive me. He scores at he's the bottom of turn player. He scores at the end of his turn. He's gonna have another chance to kill all these.
So he's
Death
got another
Riders.
turn to get rid of all those. So Pete's gonna have to commit something
Yeah, he
this
does.
turn, like those Vanguard vets. Something else that he can get on there. I'm not sure what else he has that can reach. Maybe the Vanguard vets in the bottom right-hand side. They may be
100%.
They may be able
100%.
to charge into the sticker or something. He's gonna have to load that objective up again. So again, the changes to the FAQ here are seeing some exciting finishes.
Yeah, exactly. It's making turn 5 so much more relevant, isn't it? Because if this didn't happen, if he scored I've actually been talking about this game for the last 20 minutes as from this combat point of view, as if he's going to score at the start of his turn, hence if he kills the Demonettes, it's no bueno, it's no game. But it's not, because he scores at the end. He's going to have a chance to clear these guys up, which means Peter needs to load up the objective again, like you said. The bottom right-hand Vanguards do need to go into that objective, 100%, and the top right-hand as well. And I'm of the opinion there's another unit of 5, so there's another unit of 3 Vanguard that you see on the bottom right. Yeah, look at the bottom right. See above the right-hand tank commander, there's 3 Vanguard vets there. He could probably reach those in as well. Look, Proto-Culture, you're absolutely right. He doesn't need to score 15 on the primary this turn, but he needs to stop Peter from scoring it is the more important bit. Stopping Peter from getting a 15 in his turn 5 is probably just as important now. Hence, the Demonettes now have shut that down as long as they do survive this combat, which is big. So Peter's going to end on a 40 for his the whole point of this play protoculture is to stop Peter from getting a 15-point turn and stop Peter from getting it. And then if he can hold it, so much the better. But Peter's going to have a chance to what I think is possibly going to the top right with the Vanguard Vet unit, and then maybe 2 units. There is a Vanguard Vet unit on the top right, isn't there? Behind that L, right? That we haven't seen, correct?
Yeah,
Nick?
I believe so. There's something there. It's hard to
There's
make
gotta
it
be.
out. I'll just go to the other camera angle that we've got there. What do we got on this one? Hold on, I'll just zoom in a bit.
Yes, those are Vanguard vets in the top.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So he's still got 4 units of Vanguard Vets. So one of them could go to the top left, go into the. Even if they don't manage to kill the Fiends off, there will be more models there that will deny. Well, so technically, if he wins the middle and the top left, he can give Paul a 5-point turn on primary. And look, bang! I called it. Freaking called it. That's what he's doing right now. So yeah, we're going to see a big investment right now. So the Demonettes have to go. If there's any point of giving Paul a 5-point turn, Demonettes need to go and needs to put another significant investment into the middle. It's actually it's just so unfortunate that keeper is exposed and he's going to cop 2 tank commanders. One of them is going to be Vengeance for Cater. Peter's not going to take any chances. He's going to make sure they go down. And there's the other unit of 5 is coming out right now. Either that or it's one of his characters. Oh snap! Okay, so here's something. Here's something a lot of people. Here's something that a lot of people might not be noticing. He has a Reaver Lieutenant. Peter has a Reaver Lieutenant, guys.
Yeah. So
This guy has rights of war.
So we've got OBSEC Vanguard vets on the objective over here.
Yeah. He also has a Reaver Lieutenant who can turn off OBSEC.
Okay, and then these guys are going to.
Guys, so he doesn't need to kill the Demonettes. He just pays the CP, and Demonettes aren't OBSEC anymore. And he has 1 OBSEC model on that objective.
That's one of the best things Marines have going for him. That is a massive deal.
He just turns off OBSEC for his opponent from the Demonettes. He doesn't need to kill freaking anything. 1 dude teabagging 1 millimeter onto that holds that objective over everybody, and that is a bit of a tragic situation.
Yeah, that's definitely something we're seeing a lot in the meta down here in Queensland in some of the games that we've been commentating.
This guy.
It's so strong. It's so strong. Messing with your opponent like that, it is freaking fantastic.
17. Can I take him?
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. General
Over here.
Elismo _Fred. So I'm just going to call you Fred. Unfortunately, there is no bot set up for this one. It's pretty hard for these gents to set up bots every 3 hours for the next 48 to 72 hours for every game that we have on, unfortunately. So if you do want to know anything about these lists, I will happily run you through them quickly right now. This first list is being played by Paul. He's playing Mono Slaanesh Demons. He has 3 Keepers of Secrets with a variety of different powers and stuff. Most of them for this game roll up 4+ Invulnerable save, with one of them getting a -1 to wound. 3 units of Demonettes, 1 unit of Furies, so Michael Slaanesh, of course, 1 Contorted Epitome starting off a Demon's Vanguard. The first one was a battalion. Then he's got Shalaxi Hellbane, rounding out to be his 4th Keeper, 2 units of 5 Fiends, and 1 unit of 4 Fiends. Oh, sorry, another unit of 5 Fiends. So yeah, 3 units of 5 Fiends is the total of that army. So that is the Slaanesh Demons. And he's been played against Peter's hearty Imperial stew. Raven Guard successes, Whirlwinds of Rage and Born Heroes. He's got a Smash Captain. He's got a Reaver Lieutenant. He has 2x5 Infiltrators, 2x5, so 2x10 Vanguard Vets that in this game have both been combat squadded into their subcomponents, which is all of them have Storm Shields, and he's got 5 Fists, 5 Lightning Claws. And in this game, they've both been subbed out into 5 Fists and 5 Lightning Claws, respectively. Then he has a Death Corps Krieg Patrol. This one has a Death Rider Commander, 5 Scions, 1 Astropath with Psychic Barrier, and 2x9 Death Riders. And then rounding this out, we have a Talon Patrol from Imperial Guard, 2 Demolished Tank Commanders, both Heavy Bolters and Multi-Melters, and 1 unit of 5 Scions. Okay. Rob is Teract. Rob's Sister Act, 40. Okay. Is that game or just setback? This is turn 5. This is game, guys, I think. Unfortunately.
I think we've seen these tank commanders move here, Adam. Do you think they're going for those Demonettes in the bottom left-hand corner, or do you think they're going for the Keeper itself?
So,
So, sorry, could you say that again, mate? I was just responding to this lovely man who said he listens to my podcast. What do you say, Nick?
Just those tank commanders there. So they're obviously. What do you think they're going for there? Are they going for that Keeper to get that assassinate there, or are they actually going the bottom left-hand side to try and get rid of those
Well,
DMNS on that back
he's
left
going
objective.
to opportunistically do both. He's going to shoot the bottom right hand one first, see if he kills the keeper. If he does kill the keeper, you're absolutely right. He probably does go for those demonettes. If he gets the demonettes off, like I said, he has the opportunity to give his point a 5-point primary turn and hold him. Well, actually, he has the opportunity to give him a 0 primary if he kills the demonettes.
He does. That's correct. That's what I'm saying here. So top left-hand side is actually controlled now by the OBSEC. That's why they're spaced out like they are, to obviously get back to their captain there, to get into the aura.
Okay.
And he's actually going to have to kill all 5 of them, because that first one there, if those demonettes do come in and try and kill those Vanguard vets, he's going to have to kill all 5 of them to get them off the objective, because we're going to see probably them taking them from the back there. He has in the center there, in that big cluster of combat that we have going on, we have a couple of units of Vanguard vets. They're actually very likely to kill that half-wounded keeper there in the center on its own. So that would free up the tank commanders to be able to kill that demonettes on the bottom left-hand side, which will see a massive swing, 15-0 in Peter's favour. So he can keep him from getting the 10. So we're looking at maybe possibly going 45 to 35 in the primary there. If things go well for Pete.
Peter can't get 45 anymore, I do not believe. I think because he would have scored his primary at the start of turn 5.
Correct.
He's going to end on 40. He's not going to get it anymore. And all he needs to hold Paul to 40 as well. If he holds Paul to 40 and picks up one of these keepers, he actually wins the game. I think by like 3 points. Picks up both keepers, wins the game by 6, kills the demonettes, he wins by 15, I believe, somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 points. So, man, close game either way. Paul making some big plays at the end. Peter having to make big plays in response. But the issue is, though, like he's at turn 5 and he still has 4 units of freaking Vanguard vets that he can sling around. It's heinous, you know. It's actually
that's it. And that's all been due to the firepower and the ability of these tank commanders. The movement that we've seen from those tank commanders and the deadly output of fire that we've seen from them. That's what's allowed him to keep those counter-attacking Vanguards in his pocket.
Exactly, because they're able to stay relevant, they're able to stay flexible and apply pressure consistently, and it's incredible. So he's just able to corral his opponent and keep him back. Valerie, I thought Adam was on an RTT today. Is he machine casting now? Dude, I wish I could play in an RTT and like give decent stream commentary. But I played in the RTT yesterday. You guys
How'd you go, Adam? How'd you go? I followed you a bit on Facebook. How'd you go?
I did pretty good. I managed to win again, so it's pretty nice.
I'm a big fella.
I'm building a bit of a stronghold for myself out in Ballarat. It used to be where I lived for 3 years, and I like keeping my little crown up there, so it's nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And what have you got that building towards? You got a big tourney coming up, don't you, Adam?
I've got Masters coming up. Actually, next weekend. I've got to submit my list for that at the end by midnight tonight. So that's pretty spicy. We'll have rolling coverage of that next weekend, but I don't want to talk about that yet. We can build that up. Me and you can build it up throughout the week. We are here to build up charity, build up donations. We're here to raise funds for a local community member struggling with cancer, and of course the associated bills. Also to cancer research to hopefully prevent people from getting cancer in the future and helping get bigger and better treatments so that people can stay well, stay healthy, and stay active members of our community. Because I think it's pretty much a thing now that everybody in their life will either know somebody or be directly touched by cancer, and I think it's just an unfortunate reality of life in the modern era that cancer is so prevalent. So I'm really happy to be part of something in that community that's being such a positive and working towards that. And I love the Charity Hammer boys. Shit, they could ask me to like move to the desert and cast like an RTT with them. I'd freaking do it. But yeah, Nick, back to this game. So the investment here. So look at how relevant all these Vanguard veterans became all of a sudden. Turn 1, they did nothing. Turn 2, they did nothing. Turn 3, they did nothing. Turn 4, they did nothing. Turn 5, 20 Vanguard vets materialize on the table, and they're all doing something important. Looks like we've got a charge into the Demoness happening already, and looks like from what I can see, I think 3 of them have been picked up.
Yeah, they're definitely making a hole in them.
Yeah. Doesn't look like we've seen a charge from the Vanguard vets at the top. I'm not thinking they don't really need to. They're already obsecking that top left-hand objective. But this has got to be the shooting phase because we haven't seen any wounds done.
I think it's still the shooting phase.
Yeah.
This will be the hard part for Peter because he's got those tank commanders which are going to do a lot of damage. If he can get them to kill those demonettes on the bottom left, he'll actually have to do that before any of the combat. So he's going to want to guarantee that those Vanguard vets that he can put into that Keeper of Secret on the bottom, that it's not tied into that combat, he wants to be able to put it into that to be able to get those Assassinate points as well.
Yeah, he can't leave those points on the table. Assassinate, so we said this before for those joining in right now, we're of the opinion they're pretty much going to stay pretty even on primary. Until this turn 5, I thought they were going to be like dead even, probably ending around somewhere in the 35 to 40 bracket each. And it was going to come down to the fact they both took scramblers and scored max on it. of course, because you score anything, you score 10. And they both took the secondary objective for this mission, and they're both going to score max on that too. With the exception, I'll get to this at the end. So I thought this was going to be a game of
He's going to
assassinate points versus engage in all fronts points. Of course, Peter took assassinate, so we just saw it there. Keeper of Secrets just got picked up for those at home. So it's 3 points better towards Peter's assassinate, which actually puts him on 9 for it. And then his opponent took engage. And so it's these two secondaries, and who's going to get the better of the one that they pick? Because the other two just equal each other out. Now, I will point out, though, what you said about the tank commanders going for the demonettes. If he kills those demonettes, he denies his opponent scoring those 3 points for the primary objective secondary.
Yep.
Huge deal. And good,
Ain't no thing.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there for Pete. Killing those demonettes is a big play. He's obviously gotten rid of that keeper there, so he's got those assassinate points. That's gone.
Yeah. Assassinate points in the bank. I did notice it's interesting. He did boot scoot that tank commander. I'm interested to know why he would do that, or what his thinking is there.
So I'm OMSEC on that.
Getting on that objective doesn't matter. Like that tank commander is an OBSEC. It's not in a spearhead or anything. There's no way to make it OBSEC when it's not in a spearhead. And even as a tank commander, you can't make them OBSEC. But so why is he bothered to boot scoot all the way down there? I'm interested to know. Is that just because he wanted to get away?
He doesn't have engaged, does he?
No, he's got scramblers. So yeah, an interesting move. That doesn't quite make sense to me. But he has killed that keeper, like we thought he would. It was pretty. Villicate, he does not have engage. He has Pete has taken assassinate, priority targets, and scramblers. Paul, the demon player, has taken scramblers, engage, and of course priority targets as well.
And shout out there too, Pete, on that big call on taking assassinate. That's actually knowing that you can't actually just bully people with those keepers. Knowing that you're going to be giving away your secondaries and giving away points means that he's actually had to play a bit smarter with them. And then the tank commander is just taking one a turn away. We did early game, so turn 1 we saw him take away one, turn 2 we saw another one just get vaporized. So that's given Paul a bit of a back foot. He's got to be a bit careful of what he does with them. He's had to keep him out of line of sight away from the tank commanders because he's just given up secondaries there. So that's actually taken them out of the game of the bit for Pete. So that was a big call.
Exactly right. We're about to see this charge. I think they still might be in the shooting phase, but I'm thinking this is the charge phase about to begin. He's starting to roll a series of 2 dice. Where does he place? The placement here is quite significant. Because I think he still wants to kill this keeper, doesn't he?
Well, again, it's more assassinate points, isn't it? So if we can get rid of that again, it's another 4 points. Pete needs to get as many points as he can here. The demonettes on the bottom left are obviously not going anywhere. So that objective is going to be held by Paul there. So the keeper going down here will be a big play.
Well, see, I think no matter what, Paul's going to end on 40. I think he's still actually going to make it to 45. So one thing you'll notice here, in the top left-hand corner, there's a unit of demonettes sitting off to the left of that objective. They're OBSEC. And if you notice, his opponent has, Peter has put one Vanguard veteran, like half an inch onto that objective. That guy's OBSEC. Paul scores at the bottom of turn 5, guys. They're playing with the new rules. He only needs to get 2 demonettes onto that to make that objective back to being his. Paul's going to get 45. He's going to get
the 45. Paul can't be stopped. That's why I think he sort of needed to get rid of those demonettes on the bottom left because that's
on the bottom left. Yeah, I actually think, in hindsight, killing those demonettes was more important than killing the keeper.
Yeah, that second keeper could have been killed by the Vanguard vets there in combat. So you can see them just sitting there now. I would have played 10 Vanguard vets. I think would have gone through a keeper. I think personally.
Yeah. Well,
commanders would have killed those demonettes.
Well, see, if he kills the demonettes, he denies 5 on the primary straight up. Paul can no longer get 45 on primary, and he denies him getting 3 points on priority targets. 8-point swing just on killing those 10 demonettes. It might have been a bigger deal than getting the 3 points for assassinate, but that does mean that if he doesn't kill the keeper, his opponent has a freaking keeper to wield at him in his last turn. But that might end up being a bit of a swing, but we'll see. Like this, I love it that this game, it's the bottom of turn 5. It's the top of turn 5 into the charge phase, and we're still talking about who the hell is going to win this. I would be telling you if this has
been a top-notch game.
In the old FAQ, before the player going second scored at the bottom of his turn, like the end of his turn, this game would be over. This game would actually be legitimately over because he would score 5 points. He's not holding the middle over the OBSEC. He's not holding the top left over the OBSEC, and it'd be bad. Paul would end on 40. He would get. Would he get any more points? He'd get 3. He'd end on 40. So what's he on now? He's on 30 to 40, 34, 33. So what's 40? He'd end on 73 total, which is only what a handful. I was only on 75. What are these guys doing with their secondaries? Update the scores, boys. That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, he'd end on what I can think is 73 or somewhere around that score. So yeah, that's pretty significant. You see the points, the wounds wheel has been adjusted on his Slaxy Hellbane, which is the last keeper he has standing, as the only thing holding back him from getting up to 12 points on his Assassinate. Has he? Can you see? Has he put any Vanguard vets into the Epitome?
Did you kill the epitome?
I don't think. It looks like he has on the left of them. Yeah, is that correct?
So
I think the Epitome's gone, brother.
I'm gonna find out how this handles.
The Epitome is not there. The Epitome
It
is gone. That is 3 points for Peter. So that Slaxy Hellbane is the only thing holding him back from maxing out his Assassinate. Yeah. Hilarious. Villicate is Danny. Is that Danny? Is that Danny McDevitt? Is that Danny, my man McDevitt? How you doing, brother?
87. My final score is 87.
Okay.
So I'm gonna quickly find
Yeah, so the Vanguard vets have taken it out there. So yeah, that is a big play.
Yeah, huge. And because it's such an much easier kill than freaking Shalaxi. So I think good play by Peter there. Go for the one you're pretty much guaranteed to kill. Because yeah, Power Fist just go through the Epitome. It's got like 8 wounds, but it's only got a 5+ in Vuln. You're just going to go through it with Power Fist, or even Lightning
So
Course.
is
Doesn't
there a
really matter.
reason why you think those other Vanguard vets haven't gone in? Adam?
pick up 10 points.
The ones at the top,
Off
the ones in
bottom.
the top left,
So
in the
so
bottom.
the top ones are obviously so the bottom right of near the measuring tape there.
Yeah, I think there was no point. I think he held the objective already, and putting extra bodies in there wasn't going to make much of a difference. I don't think he had a good engagement as well, because so the other option is maybe he rolled them against the Fiends and not against Flaxy, and decided like he didn't make the charge, didn't want to put him in. But we'll actually ask him. We should ask Peter that. Mitch, are you able to ask Peter why he didn't charge with those 2 units of Vanguard? Of course, if it's not going to impact the game at all, like if he hasn't just forgotten to charge the damn things.
Yeah, don't mean to interfere. But yeah, I think I would have just chucked him into the keeper. I think just gone for some more assassinate points.
Because he gemmed the captain who had the aura of advance in charge.
That's freaking sexy. So if those of you don't know the Forbidden Gem, you target a unit and then you make that you roll above its leadership on 3d6 and you just turn it off. Or its aura cease to exist and it can't take any action in that phase. So those 2 units of Vanguard vets had advanced in order to get better charges, and he just turned off the advance in charge aura and they couldn't charge. That's actually freaking sick. Well freaking played, Paul.
Yeah, there's some secret tech coming out everywhere from these boys. I'm loving it.
He held on to that gem until the bottom of his opponent's last turn. That's some freaking cold-blooded stuff right there. Ice in his veins, this man. Freaking love it. Well done, Paul. Mad play.
That alone's a 3-point swing, so I like it. It's good.
Hilarious. Yeah. Well, that stopped Shalaxi from going. Well, that stopped that keeper. It's obviously not Shalaxi. That stopped that keeper from going down.
So when do you, it did. So when do you declare that? When do you do that? Is that at the start of the charge phase? Is that when they declare
Any
the charge?
start of any freaking phase, man. Any phase.
The start of any phase. Yeah, nice.
Pick a unit within 12, roll above 3d6. That unit can take no part. It essentially does not exist for the remainder of that phase.
Yes, on himself and everyone within.
Yeah, Galaxy Brain Paul. I hope Paul watches this back and just sees the sheer, like, the 5 lads who just chimed in and been like, mwah, that is some primo stuff right there. So good.
Yeah, I guess I'll start the Fiends.
All right. We're about to go into the bottom of turn 5, guys. It's about to start. Demon Nets are going to move on to the top left-hand objective. Obviously, they're just going to advance on.
You're good.
No big deals there. So he's still doing some consolidates. Yeah. He's just doing the end of his turn consolidates. Jumping in, doing his movement phase. So he's going to score a minimum of 10. Paul is going to definitely 100%, no doubt, max his primary. Whether he holds the middle or not is kind of irrelevant. He actually kind of needs to fall his stuff back and clinch his 3 points for engage, I think. He's not going to take any more damage from his opponent. The middle objective doesn't matter anymore because he kind of can't hold it over his opponent unless he shreds everything, and he doesn't have the quantity of tax into the right things that he needs to shred. I'm of the opinion of. So fall back, brother. Get your 3 points from engage. You've already maxed out all your
What do you
secondaries.
think's going to fall back there? The keeper there. You think that's going to
Keeper
fall
goes.
back?
Keeper goes in the bottom right hand corner. Fins go into the top right hand corner, and all the demonettes can go in the top right hand corner. And yeah, he gets through those lines, clinches his 3 for engage, and we count this bad boy up in series 1.
Yeah, nice.
Rob's Sister Act 40k. Only thing that would make Paul smarter is playing Sisters. Rob's Sister Act, is that Rob's Sister Act from the Sister Act 40k podcast? And if it is, I love your work, mate. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
First one because I roll them all at once.
Um,
Yep, guy dies. And
Yeah, what a game we've
second
seen
guy
here, Adam. What a game.
is on one.
This has been
Oh,
tight from
dude,
the very start. The movement.
so man, very, very tactical play from both. Both showed their skill, both showed their caliber. Peter using essentially like big braining Talan tank commanders. Every turn he big brained away to get them shooting, to make them keep contributing. And every turn Paul was like scooting, playing conservative, picking his moments and being cagey. Freaking lovely. Freaking
Yeah, Paul was
lovely
doing everything he
play.
could to take those tank commanders out of play, but he just couldn't. The movement on them from Talan has just been able to get them to anywhere they want to be. Get those firing lanes just cracking open. He's been able to get rid of those seekers, those keepers a secret early. So that was a big play there by Pete.
Yeah, Pete being able to essentially pick up a keeper every turn for the first 3 turns really changed what Paul was able to do, didn't it? It was like Paul, at any point, Paul was able to like sally forth and just dive 2 or 3 keepers into like one quarter of this table and just probably munch it, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
But the fact that every turn he's just like opportunistically, oh cool, I'm going to half kill to kill a keeper, half kill to kill a keeper, bang, 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 really changed everything. Paul was just like, oh crap, well, I guess I can't just have a huge investment. But what I love about this game, yeah, is it just kind of had this steady build into this mad freaking crescendo at the end, where we're just seeing such top tier players from both opponents. Magnificent. Like Peter's use of the Peter's use of the Reaver, the Rights of War and the Reaver strat. I'm not sure if he did turn off OBSEC for his opponent, but the fact that he had that Rights of War able to come in and make all his Vanguard vets become OBSEC, e.g. does similar the same thing. And then on top, his opponent responded by being like, nah bro, you can't charge with those 3 units because freaking that captain that always don't exist. So good. So freaking good. Yeah.
This is what we're seeing, that the Raven Guard are just a little bit more of a different choice. Probably a better choice, but definitely a different choice than the White Scars. You find a lot of people turn 3, okay, let's go. We got the White Scars buffs going on. This is where we're going to do some damage. We want to kill some things. But Pete held them off. He's the Iceman. He held them off all the way till turn 4, turn 5 when he needed them, and then he brought out the big plays. So that's definitely something I've been a fan of.
Let me just count this up a little bit. So Peter spent 4 turns of his game using under 500 points of his army. So two dude.
Just had the tank
tank commanders is 490 points. That's the only units in his army he used for the first like 3 turns. Turn 4, he decided to use the rest of his army. It's so good. Yeah, love it.
So we're gonna get 6 attacks.
So we've seen some Death Rise being picked up in that middle blob. Some bits and pieces will be going in here, there, and everywhere.
Still in there. Still kicking.
So he's actually still got some smite. He's still got 1 smite to contribute. Unfortunately, the epitome would be contributing another one, but she'd be dead. But so not much we can say about that. I'm just surprised he didn't go for the. He's still fighting for this middle objectives. I don't know why he's bothering. He's already locked down 10 on the primary. It's actually that secondary that's going to be more worth it, especially now that we know Peter has made it to 12 on his assassinate because he got the epitome. The engage points for Paul would put it. He would end up with 10 on engage versus 12. He'd only be down 2 on the primaries, and if he has maxed his so he's only down 2 on the secondaries. If he's maxed his primary and Peter hasn't, he wins the game by like 3 points. So if he doesn't get engaged this turn, he might lose this by 2 points.
Yeah, Protoculture's pointed out in the chat here, this has been a game of secondaries. It definitely has. It's also been a massive game on movement. What we've seen from both players, Peter especially with the movement that he's had there from the tank commanders we touched on, but also the late game shenanigans that he's had, the late game movement from the Vanguard vets in the top left hand side, just to be able to claim OBSEC for 1 turn. Whether or not he turned off OBSEC, we're not sure, but like that's a big play as well. The fiends that he's got, the combat that we've got in the center here, the actual placement of models from Paul himself. This has all come down to great placement of models, I think. To achieve the secondary, so I think Protoculture's right there.
I will like to point out one thing for people at home. See that tank commander in the bottom freaking left-hand corner?
That'll get you 2.
But that won't
Everybody noticed that tank command in the bottom left-hand corner of the demon in the freaking demon deployment zone. Turn 3, that was in the top right-hand corner.
Oh man,
It was on
they were both sitting up there.
They were on that freaking rock, dude, in the top right-hand corner. So he's in 2 turns. That's the power of Talan. Yeah, 2 turns, he's there.
Yeah, that's it. Like we,
cannot
as
put
at the start of the
price
game, I
on
mentioned that
Hamilton on that.
maybe that Paul has got Pete stuck into that bottom right-hand corner, sorry, the top right-hand corner, and that he's going to be steering there. And then you pointed out, rightly so, that these tank commanders are going to be able to move around. They did. Yeah, they're boot scooted all the way across the table. They've been the main threats.
Food freaking scooted. So good. Death Riders are now down to what looks to be, I believe, 4 left, possibly 5 left. I think 5 left.
Yeah,
And
yep.
they well and truly are good. They're out of combat with the remaining keeper, from what I can see. But because that keeper's in base with Vanguard, so we can't pile into them any longer. So it's just Demonettes and Fiends that are doing the pound of work there. And of course, the Fiends cannot let them fall back, as is their aura. But yeah, I really wish he had gone for some engage, because of course all those units that he has bottled in the middle are within 6 of the center, cannot score engage no matter where they are. They needed to fall back and get some mileage into the bottom and top right hand corners of this table, and then he'd be scoring either 2 or 3 points at the end. As it is right now, he's going to max his primary. There's nothing that can be done about that by Peter anymore, but the secondaries might be out of his reach without gunning for that engage. So we'll see.
Yeah,
There might be still
the changes to the going first and second is obviously, like you're pointing out there, is once you get to your turn 5, you know, okay, well, this is what I need to get to win. I'm this far behind or ahead, and like you mentioned, they're just sneaking out to get those. He knows exactly what he can and can't do, what he has to do. We're seeing a bit of a block there, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure. No, that could be a block there. But like you said, you know exactly what you need to get on turn 5, and you can just go through the motions. You need to know what you do and don't need to kill. You need to know what part of the board you need to be on. So it's good. I really like it. It's a massive, massive bonus now to going second.
Absolutely right, dude. If this wasn't playing with the new FAQ, this bottom of turn 5 would have literally been a non-event. They wouldn't have even have played it. You could have just counted the score up and nothing would have changed.
Yeah, that's
it. Like, it's just a tragic feeling for a player going second. You already feel like you're going to get a little bit pounded because there's a lot of alpha striker elements still out there if you don't have great terrain, of course, which this isn't. This is actually fantastic terrain. But yeah, there's also, you feel like you're on the back foot going first. But now, going second now, you feel like, dude, if I could choose to go second now, I think I would every game. But now I can't.
That was going to be my next point. The ability to take away the choice of it. I think if you could choose to go second, you would be able to go second and you would be too powerful. But the fact that you just roll off and the person doesn't get to choose, I think that's actually really good. I do see a lot of people saying that it takes away from the tactical element of it. It definitely does. But like you've already mentioned, if you can just choose to go second, majority of the people would go second, and we would have a massive problem where going second is actually way too powerful.
Yeah, you might actually be exactly right there, brother. I have thought about it that way, but I still think, no, you're wrong. I want to be able to choose, but just because I want to have my cake. I'm a selfish boy. Where are we at with this? I think we're right in the middle of the assault phase. I think these are probably Fiends waiting into possibly a combination of Vanguard vets. Actually, if you look to the left of Shalaxi, there was a bunch of Vanguard vets there. So not Shalaxi, that's a keeper because we know it's got the gem. If you look to the left of that, there used to be Vanguard vets there. I think there might be one left, sitting under that big ass core. Yeah,
under the pro.
This was under the pro. Don't call it that. This is Fiend smashing into the Death Riders. We see how this turns out. Fiends can spike the Rend 3 on the 6s, can't they? And they're Rend 1, the Strength 4 Rend 1 all the time, I believe, yeah?
Now we do them 2 at a time.
Yeah, I believe you're correct there.
Okay. So I take 2, and then we're going to do this one.
Right.
Okay, so that is the second dead, and then the final one. Okay, cool. Takes 2.
Okay, so yeah, he's just taken a bunch. I think he's lost at least 2. I think he's lost 3 from that unit. He's picked 2.
One more AP3.
One more AP3.
Is he good?
All right, do damage to me.
Oh yeah, one's taking some wounds.
Yeah, so he's down to 3 left.
Oh, he's got still a couple left because there was a couple of 6s there that go straight to his 5+ save.
Yep. So he's got 3 left. He's got 2 left on full wounds and 1 left on, I believe, 2 if he's counting down.
The keeper.
Yeah, beautiful.
All in on your
You count down or count up with your wounds, Adam. It's a massive talking point every game.
Count down, you fools.
He's going down. Yeah, I'm a going down, man.
All right, well, let's see
I don't want to look at your dice and have to do math. I should look at your dice and see how many wins I got left.
Yeah,
You know?
100%, man. I agree with you there. It's always
That keeper has just killed the last of those Vanguard, so it hadn't attacked. Maybe it got a super smite, or either that, or half the Fiend attacks went into that, half went into the Vanguard. So half went into Riders, half went into the Vanguard, because yeah, it was obvious that at least 3 or 4 of those had been killed before the keeper attacked. Keeper picked up the last one, and now he looks pretty like he's got supremacy on that middle objective. If that lieutenant wasn't there, where is that lieutenant? Is he still there? Or is he dead?
No, I believe he was the one that did the block move, so he's still there, but he's off the objective. He's one that's cruised around. He's just below the last Vanguard vet there in the center.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, I can see him. Yeah, he's gone into block. He went into block the pylon from the DMNS, didn't he?
Right.
Yes, that is correct.
So
yeah.
I'm going to go with.
Yeah, so they couldn't pile around and get more guys onto the objective. But I'm of the opinion that this middle objective didn't matter. Am I wrong in that assumption?
No, I think you're correct there, but I think it also. I'm just trying to do some
One hit.
lines on the table with my pen here to find out whether or not they may be in engage range there, those demonettes.
Well, they're they can't be within 6 of the middle
Oh,
of the
they're
table.
in the
so
center, yeah, correct, yeah, true.
they can't be engaged, which is why he had to Voltron out. He had to fall
Yeah,
back
he
and fall back.
definitely had
I mean, it's freaking counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive as hell that, hey, I got this big smash, can create a demon, but I need to fall it back so so we can hold the table cord at the end of the game. But yeah, I mean, it probably did feel pretty cathartic for Paul to actually get into a meaningful combat this game, because this is the only chance he's had to really go in and smash something.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
It's probably a relief.
Peter's done well to dictate the combat terms there.
Absolutely. He did well to force the engagement as well. We put all 18 of his Death Riders onto that middle objective. For those of you who are just joining us, Peter double moved. This is one thing, crazy thing you do with Death Riders. You can double move the damn guys. So he double moves his Death Riders and put all 18 of them on that objective, fully insulating it. You could not sneak anything onto that objective, e.g. you had to freaking charge it. But the downside to that is Paul has all these deny fallback mechanics built into his army that when he did charge him, it meant he was going to stay there, and he was going to be insulated and protected from the tank commanders. So it's been a big double-edged sword either way, but I think Peter cared. Peter's like, it's turn 4 and I still have 20 Vanguard veterans. Lock me up, baby. Let's do this. Let's dance. But what it's done, it's actually focused all of Paul's stuff away from getting things like engage.
Yeah, it has. It stopped him and blocked him around the table. So he's had a lot of counter assault elements with those Vanguard vets, like you mentioned. He has to be able to just sneak into objectives. He did a 1 turn with the Furies there. But he's had to hold off. He's had to hold everything that he's had. The Fiends and that, he's had to hold them back. He hasn't been able to just use them up. The unit that he did run up on the right hand side of that just actually folded and just died. The first unit, we saw the unit of 4 with the Herald or whatever it was with it. That got shot down, and it only remained with the upgraded sergeant there. And we have just seen the last keeper being removed.
No, I think this is the pack up. I think they're packing up.
Oh, is it? Is it? My bad. I thought that was massive.
He's scoring it now.
Yeah. They're scoring right now, guys.
All right, we will get a final update for you guys, and then we'll be pulling this bad boy down, and we'll be back joining you again for our next game. And we got Mitch. Want to tell us a little bit about Charity Hammer, a little bit about Hammer Out Cancer, if you got a couple of minutes.
I don't really have a good mic setup to do that right now.
Don't stress, brother.
If you want to go for it, Adam,
so-
go for it.
For those at home who might not know what we're doing, this is Charity Hammer, Hammer Out Cancer. This is the gentleman from the Biff Pod, Best in Faction podcast, if you do not know what that is. This is the 3rd year they're running Charity Hammer. This year, of course, is a little bit compromised. Not quite what everybody wanted it to be, due to the state of the world, due to the state of the current pandemic restrictions and such, and us not wanting to expose our friends to risk. So this has been played entirely in-house at Colin Sherman's who is one of the hosts, of the Best in Faction podcast. And this is to raise funds for a local community member who's struggling with the cancer diagnosis. And furthermore to that, also to raise funds for cancer research.
Well,
So this is an amazing initiative being undertaken by
you need to get if
amazing initiative being taken by this gentleman.
So the problem is there was OBSEC on all these.
Well, yeah.
Okay, sorry. I can hear the table, guys, and I can also hear you guys. So I thought I was getting talked to by Mitch, but this amazing initiative has been undertaken by this gentleman in order to raise funds for a local community member and also for cancer research on top. If we're taking donations, please jump over. I'll chuck up the link very quickly for Charity Hammer. Please jump on over to the website posted right now in the chat right here. Jump over there, donate. Every $30 that you donate puts you into the raffle to win some incredible stuff. You can win essentially a brand new in-box Orc Army. It's a bunch of bikers, a bunch of flyers, some mega knobs, some flash kits, some other good bits and pieces, all brand new in-box. And you can also freaking win a 2,000 point professionally painted tournament ready Necron's army, which is absolutely freaking gorgeous. So jump over, please donate. It's all going to an incredibly good cause run by incredibly good people. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us, guys. We'll get a final score for you and then see if our master of ceremonies, Colin, has anything to touch on. But Nick, anything you want to mention?
Let's play some first.
No, man, just
And then at 6 o'clock, stream one.
As me and you, yep. So just like you mentioned already, jump on. $30 donated, get you a ticket for that Necron prize, man. This game alone was worth $30. You were that's cheaper than watching the UFC and the exciting that we had towards the end of the game there. That was good. I would definitely get involved in that if you are at home. Yeah, just waiting for scores really, Adam. Excited. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. Had a great time.
Thank you so much for doing the commentary. We really appreciate it.
That's it.
Because we were fighting for this middle.
No problem at all, guys. So you can. I'll be over on the next game. I'll be over on the Biff. If you want to follow me through this, I'll be over on the Biff Pod Twitch channel commentating with the wonderful Pablo Martinez for the next game. We don't know who that is. That's the winners from the round one of this RTT playing off. I'll be commentating over there with Pablo. You can catch us over there in about 20-ish minutes from now. We're going to get a final score for you guys loaded up here. So when Mitch is ready to chime in with
Final
that.
score is 87-85. Peter wins.
Whoa! Dude, I freaking called it. If he didn't get engaged, he was going to lose by 2. He needed to fall back and get those engage points, and he would have freaking won by a point, guys.
So they discussed
Damn!
that he was unable to fall back and get into the corners he needed to, due to the fact that there were units clogging up where he needed to go, and he could not advance when he falls back.
Of course, fair enough. Well, it looks like he did the due diligence anyway, and it wasn't a possibility. But dude, well played game by two sterling gentlemen. Incredible play by Peter.
Well
Incredible play by Paul. Man, 2 points in it. Magnificent showcase for gaming up there. Magnificent showcase for Charity Hammer as well. Thank you so much for putting on such a professional performance for both of these gentlemen. Really showed their caliber and their quality.
Okay, we will be back in about 15 minutes, guys. We'll see you later.
See you then, guys. Peace out. Take care, and please support Charity Hammer.
End stream.
End stream.